Welcome to the New Gambia platform, weekly talk show. Today we have our guest in the house here, Marisol, an aspiring presidential candidate 2021, and we have a chairman of Alliance of Social Democrats, Cisaho also, Cisaho Fati. They are our guests today. So we're gonna be discussing about their political aspiration, what they think is good for Gambia, what are the plans, etc. and etc. So I have our co-host here, Sam Ceesay, Sam from Indiana, and then we have Alas from Germany, and I'm your host, Momodou, Sawaneh, in New York. So we're gonna quickly jump into this. Marie and Sisaho, you have the floor. Can you just go ahead and introduce yourself, and then perhaps our team can also introduce themselves, and then quickly, let's just make it like a minute, and then we can just jump on it right away.
Yeah, hello. Everybody knows I'm Marisol. I'm calling live from the Gambia, and I'm an aspiring presidential candidate. We hope to have a great session today, and thank you for this platform. Thank you.
Excellent.
You're
Welcome. Sisaho, you can come in and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello everybody. I am Sisaho Fati, the chairman of Alliance for Social Democrats. I'm calling from Gambia.
Thank you, Sisaho. Sam.
He is Sam Ceesay. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, in the United States. President of the Gambian Association in Indiana here. So glad to be here, and definitely good to see you both and get to meet you virtually. So thank you, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Alice?
Yeah, I'm Alas from Germany.
a very accomplished businessman. Thank you, Alice. And I'm your host, Sawaneh from New York, community organizer, and also a philanthropist. Thank you, guys. Welcome. So, Marie, we're gonna jump right away to this, discussion. Now, all of a sudden, the 2021 election was approaching, and then we had a breaking news. Marie Sox running for president. You had a press conference that was big. I mean, I'm like, and all of a sudden I started seeing someone talking with an aspiration, with some. I said, wait a minute, the accent with some Western American accent, and blended in it, and then some kind of new looks to our politics. I said, wait a minute, let me listen to this, press conference. And I even started to post some questions there. That time I didn't even know where you're coming from, and I don't know if you even see them, but don't hold them against me, because I wasn't really. Yeah, but the whole thing is like, it was an exciting moment. I mean, it caused a lot of attention. Perhaps the first woman to, probably jump in the race. So we are here to invite you so that we can dig deep in your aspiration. Why this? What are you trying to accomplish? What is wrong with our system? So I have the team here who they're gonna, don't take anything, this thing personal, because we are here to kind of do a conversation type, at the same time ask all on questions. So and then we are really open, because the reason for this platform is to answer any unanswered questions. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me on the platform. And well, like you said, when I just came out and people talk about my accent or whatever, probably my accent is even better now because I moved to the US. I think if I was directly from Spain, I don't think you guys would understand me. so I think it's good that I went to the US and my accent is a bit changed a bit, because then you can understand me.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
you
yeah.
all know I'm from the Gambia, and I was born in Banjul, #2 Makati Square. I am from the Foster and Carroll family. My mother is a Fayen, and my grandfather is from Sok, Kunda, and Kent Street. So I'm kind of, my family is big. We are related to nearly everyone in the Gambia, you know, and when you break it down, then you know who my family is, and it's huge. And I think I was born, raised here, educated here. I even worked here prior to going out. You know, I used to travel a lot. And one of the things my dad did for me that was really positive in my life was making sure, even in school, in high school, he used to make me go every year to Colonial de Vacances. That kind of my interest in traveling. So every year I would go to Colonial de Vacances and go to Senegal and other countries, Mauritania. So I learned a lot through these travels, and it broadened my, scope on different cultures, different people. We are not the only ones here. And from an early age, I learned a lot from traveling. So when I finished high school, that, love for travel stayed with me, and I was still traveling. And later, I think in '93, finally, we moved to the Canary Islands, where I lived with my ex-husband, and then stayed also in Germany. We traveled to Germany a lot because he's from Berlin. And then used to go to the US a lot, loved the US, thought the US was different, you know, because when you travel to the US and you're on vacation, it looks to you that, wow, this is all like cosmopolitan, you know, all everybody's there, you know, black, white, all the nationalities are there. And you, wow, this is nice. I want to live here, especially if you live in Europe for so many years and all around you is just white. You know, you tend to have that,
I know it.
that hunger to be around different kinds of people. But you know, living in the US and visiting US is two different things. And that I learned today, and it made me who I am today. It builds my strength, because living in Europe, I was naive. I was, you know, this so-called Black girl with, you know, different beautiful lifestyle. Coming to America, I for the first time realized I was Black. Because you are 24/7 reminded that you're Black. So these experiences that I have being all over the world made me who I am today. Coming back to Gambia, I didn't just come and jump into politics. I came to the Gambia in 2011 for the first time, invited by one of Gambia's finest gentlemen, Mr. How do you call it? The owner of Gamgas, Jibi Jallo, and he always tells me, you guys need to come home, you know, and you're all out there, all the nice people, our Gambians, you know, our well-to-do Gambians, you're all out there, come back home. So I came for the first time and I brought projects. And of course, those projects were going back and forth, paying your ticket, meeting with the ministers, all trampled on your projects. You go back, come back. What we have today in Ghana, for example, the year of return, I brought that concept in 2011, you know, in 2011 for Gambia, and it would have been fantastic. We would have had the first year of return before even Ghana. But unfortunately, you know, in Gambia, people don't see beyond, you know, their selfish interest. You know, they just see if they cannot fit in something or if they cannot benefit, then they will sit on these projects. So a lot of other things, but that motivated me to stay, because I said, listen, we cannot be that whenever we bring things from the diaspora or we bring stuff, you know, people don't appreciate it, thinking that if another person brings it, that's not Gambian, that's American, or that's white, it's better than what we bring. You understand? We come in with a lot of experience. And when we bring things, we will secure that whatever is brought will be done right and properly. Because, you know, because we're doing it for our own people. So if we bring nonsense, trust me, it will fall back on us. But like I said, this is my journey so far. I don't want to talk out of topic here. And one of the reasons that made me stay is to make sure I'm not going to lose this fight. I'm not going to give up on my country. I have a choice. I can be in America right now, like all of you all, but I love my country. I, you know, push my children to serve. I said to my children, America is your country. go and serve your country. In my age now, I've taken care of my kids. I have nothing to do in the US. If I'm in the US, what am I going to do? Go shopping, eat in restaurants? What am I going to do? So let me come back, let me give back.
Home is home.
If I die here, my people will bury me also.
Wow,
That's very right.
excellent. Okay,
But
very good.
I also have something similar to your projects there. I know a lot about it. That's
Yeah.
why we gave up. You know? And it was going to be very good for the youths anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, till today, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the story of Gambia. So very good.
Yeah.
That's well stated. I think Marie has given introduction of her career and all that. So we have the question on the chat. I can repost it again. Sam and Alice to look at. So if you want to ask those questions, but before that, Ciesay, can we hear from Ciesay a little bit about his work in collaboration with Marie and Alliance Social Democrats, so that we know what are the connections there, because I don't think we know. I know Marie is aspiring fancy word, aspiring presidential candidate, and Social Alliance of Social Democrats, is that a platform that Marie is running on, or is it that there are two different things Marie happens to be part of? Because this man is Ciesay is a chairman, so a chairman means he leads that group. So we just want to know the clarity there. Yeah.
Do you want me
Mr.
to
Fati,
introduce that to Ciesay, or so you can go ahead?
I'm trying to listen. I didn't get his question properly. If he's talking about
Okay.
Alliance for Social Democrats, whether he want to know about that or
Your introduction.
My Alliance for Social Democrats is a non-profitable and a civil society organization. I think you understand the point.
Yeah, we understand that. Yeah.
okay.
Good. We are engaged in promoting good governance and good institutions. One tribe, one people, one Gambia, and one nation, engaged in all citizens to unite.
Okay.
Very good.
Now, how is that connecting with Marie? Marie, because
Marie is an independent candidate, and then Alliance for Social Democrats, we are not supporting any party. We are not a political party. Then we saw Marie as an independent candidate that we wanted to support. I mean, for her, getting her to the State House, we wanted to stand behind her with all our support.
Okay.
Okay. Why? Can you give us the reason for that so our audience can benefit?
No, the reason being there, we have seen the quality in her, and then for her living all the way from America, have seen Gambia the way it is, because we are not supporting any political party. What we have seen in Marie, we have sit with her, discuss with her our aims and ambitions, what we want, and she's supporting the same thing. That is why we decide to be with her and support her up to the last level.
Okay, so it means that you don't support other political party, but because Marie has something distinguished, then you guys are now supporting Marie. It would have been Alas, or it would have been Sam, if you had believed in each one of them, right?
Again, Mr. Sawaneh, I didn't get you.
Yeah,
was it a question?
No, I was saying that it would have been, if you supported Marie and didn't support other parties like Doi and others because you saw something specifically of interest, or you see that he's the best candidate. She's the best candidate. Now, I'm saying, is that the case, or you guys don't support political parties at all? You just make an exception here.
Okay, that goes to Mr. Fati.
Yeah. Let me explain what I can explain a little bit what Alliance of Social Democrats is. It's a political movement. It's a political organization which was formed. I'm actually one of the founders, and he's the chairman. I'm not in any of the documentation as far as the organization. And the reason is we feel that Gambia, the way it is right now with all these political parties, we need to have a political organization that can hold every political person accountable, even myself. This is one of the reasons I cannot be in the executive. I'm not in any of the executive in that movement, because I want, when I'm in office, to have somebody point out things that I'm not doing. So let's say, for example, I am in office and I give, they give me, because in that movement, they have an executive team. They have the, how do you call it? Another team that's we are forming, which is the tactical team. And in that tactical team, or, these are the people that are going to probably have a memo of what I need to do for the first 100 days, what they expect of the head of state to do for the first 100 days. And when you are in your 60 days, there will be a memo sent that, hey, these and these areas are lapsing, this and this is not done. So it's an independent organization that has nothing to do in government. Let's say, for example, Mr. Fati here tomorrow wants to be in government. He will have to come out of that post, and somebody has to take that post. So Alliance of Social Democrats is here to promote anybody that's standing for independent, whether we are independent candidate or you want to be an independent NAMS, or you want to, because we believe that the political parties all have the same kind of structure. And if you look at the structure well, and you look at the way these political party leaders behave or their behavior, it's trending towards dictatorship. It's already being made for dictatorship. There's nobody accountable. There's nobody checking somebody. Nobody's checking who's checking you. You checking yourself as a minister. Who's checking you? You checking yourself as a, the president. Who's checking you? You checking yourself. And if we want to talk about checks and balances and making people accountable, then we have to have another body that's out there that can hold you accountable. That can say, you know what, you're not doing this right. One of the reasons I am not in any head position in this organization. They have their own movement. The movement, these are people who came, listened to the idea of the movement. They felt, wow, this is what we want. We don't want any more political parties. And also it gives chances to everybody to be part of. When we go to office, for example, when I go to office, I need to be able to work with every Gambian. I need to be able to work with whether you're a UDP or PDP or API, it doesn't matter. We as Gambians, there are people who don't vote. There are people who are not in any parties. What about those people? You want to tell me just because they're not in any party, they cannot work with, we cannot work with them? We need to have inclusivity. People have to come together. For us, for Gambia to grow or for Gambia to move forward to the next level, we need to be united and we need to work. And this is one of the reasons we have this organization where people can be part of and be part of the decision making. They're not going to be in the government. It's an organization, but they're going to be sending recommendations, things that they expect from the government, and make sure that these expectancies, are met. So we even have an Alliance of Social Democrats in the US, which is registered in the US for people who live in the US and cannot come home or have a US citizenship or have other people, Americans that want to come home. But the Alliance of Social Democrats in the US is more on a social level. I feel if you want to come to Africa, and you love Gambia, for example, so much, you can contribute, you can help, donations or clothing or medical supplies. So it can go through that Alliance of Social Democrats in the US. This is not, this organization is not about winning or not winning, because regardless whether we win or not, we will still do what we have to do for country. We will still fix our country. We will still donate. We will still help people in our country. And whoever wants to stand in the next 5 years, we will push somebody, we will promote somebody. In the next 10 years, the same thing. When I am in office, the same thing will happen. If it's 2 terms, the first term is making sure everything that we want to do, that is in our manifesto, is being done. Making sure that in the next 5 years, we can train 2 or 3 more people to run for the presidency. Because if somebody is 25 years today, in 10 years, they're 35, they can take over the country. If somebody is 35, they can be 45 in the next 10 years, they can take over the country. But how do you prepare that person? So the organization is there, so we can groom these people, send them out to travel, educate them, show them what good governance. This is what we are lacking today in our society, in the Gambia. That is why everybody can just jump and be a president. I did not just jump and want to be a president. I've been helping other political parties. I've been involved in their politics, but I see, for example, that some of these party leaders that have been in these parties don't even know how to operate a computer, don't even know how to operate a mere cell phone. So it's discouraging if you are in there and we are talking about technology and way forward for Gambia, and you have leaders that are not up to date with what is happening around the world, then it is easy for these leaders to be manipulated by the West. And we are selling out cheap. And the next scramble for Africa is going to be bigger than what we saw when it's slavery. The next scramble is all our resources. And if we don't have somebody smart enough to stand there and fight for us, whether you're in the diaspora or you're in the Gambia, you're going to lose out, period. Because when your family suffer, we in the diaspora are suffering. Since I came to Gambia, I am, listen, I give until me, myself, I said I will soon sit in the street and beg, because that's the reality. And people don't beg because they want to, they beg because they can't, they don't have it. But then we talk about, hey, we have people who have money, we have this. So we came up with this whole new idea, which is having a very powerful political organization. So whether it's us or any other, political head, we will have this organization to hold anyone accountable. So I am not even excused from that.
Okay.
Okay. So I think everybody understands, right? Sam and Alice.
Yeah.
So we know how to,
Great.
how they're connected. You guys, yeah.
Thank you very much, Mary.
Thank you for making it clear. Now I understand. Yeah. Okay. Who want to go with first questions? Sam.
I could go. Well, Mary, first, again, definitely welcome to the show. This is very important. Is a very important platform. Of course, a very important discussion today. My take on this is, becoming a president in any country, especially the situation that the Gambia is in, there is a lot of problems in Gambia that all need to be fixed. And we know that it cannot be fixed in one day. Rome was not built in one day. But becoming a president or being a president is a lot of task that's on that person. And if we look at Gambia's situation, from the healthcare, the education system, agriculture, price of goods, there's a lot of problems in the Gambia, really a lot of problems in the Gambia. And I can ask questions on all of this, but we don't have that much time. So I'm going to limit my question at this point, and I may do follow-up questions later. So when you look at, like I said, I mentioned all of these and many more, the economy of our country. I mean, we are sinking, and really with death and all the other stuff. But specifically, what would you do as a president for our women? Our women are dying in labor. Our hospitals are not equipped. We don't have the right people. We don't have the right equipment. We don't have the right supplies. I mean, we don't have the right personality. In fact, yesterday I was on Facebook doing a customer service, a video on customer service, how people need to be treated. So what would you do for our healthcare system in the Gambia if you become president?
Well, I thank God that my family come from doctors and teachers and lawyers. You understand? I used to go to the same Royal Victoria Hospital when I was a little, my matron there. And I saw the quality of service back then, in these hospitals. And I see the quality of service now in our hospital. I've been to the hospital now. I've taken people to our hospitals, and even to have medication is a problem. I've seen women, I've taken my own girl that works for me to the hospital at 2 a.m., to a private hospital, only at 2 a.m. for them to say that they cannot take care of her. They need to refer us to the RBTH. We went to the RBTH, rushed, ambulance went in there, and we found a doctor, or she said she's a doctor, sitting on the table and writing a report. I walked in, what are you doing at 2 a.m. writing a report? I said, they brought somebody here with an ambulance. Obviously, there's a reason an ambulance brought that lady in. well, I'm writing a report. Well, there's no one here at this time for you to send that report to. You need to get up and find out why that ambulance brought that lady in here. And the reason why I'm giving all these scenarios is like, you know, there's a lot of change to be done on our healthcare system. I think our nurses need to go back to school. I don't think we have general medicine in the Gambia. From what I see, we don't have specialists. You know, all our nurses are all doing the same things. They don't have specialized areas. I don't even think we have gynecologists, because the only gynecologist I see is a guy from Cuba. You understand? And why are we having all these deaths? You know, when women go to give birth, when they will touch you, want to forward them C-section. Why is that the only option we have in our country? Why is it only C-section that we have in our country? Why can't she give a normal birth? So, and there's a lot of things that, you know, I mean, I've seen, nobody told me, I was there. You know, you go to the hospital, they say, Anna COMB, but what does she need CO for? The need pulled after birth. That for a woman to carry your own after birth home with you, you know, to Anna Malanambi, you know, and these are all hospitals in the Gambia, and people begin to think it's the norm. No, it is not the norm. Prior to giving birth, prior to having the baby, you need to see your gynae, you need to see your primary care, health care provider. We don't have, I don't know if we have, because I don't see it. I don't see these things. So these are all the things that we have to put in place. Like I said, my family come from doctors and nurses and lawyers and all that. And I see the lagging in our system now. Nurses are not that qualified. We need to get them back for, to do some kind of test. You know, they need to go back to refresher courses or whatever, you know, a proper CNA course, a proper, you know, what we call higher level education on being a nurse. They should be differentiated, you know, from the CNA to the, you know, like we have in the US, LPN to RN. You know, when you go to the hospital, you don't know who is who. These are all just, they go to the nursing school, they come, that's it. You know, the customer care is not even there. Some of them don't even know what customer care is. They feel that you don't tell that to a woman in labor, you know. So, and then when you are there, somebody like me, then they start saying something like, do you have to know who I am for you to treat this person? So I've seen it. I am a woman. And right now, in this 21st century, no one should die of childbirth. The death, I was on the platform here before with some doctor, young doctor on a platform, and she was telling me the death rate before in the 80s or 90s was much more than now, and telling me that the difference is, I don't know how much, it's still too much. Is one death too much? Is 400 deaths too much? Is 500 deaths too much? Because our healthcare system is not working. Nothing works. You cannot tell me to give blood, and then when we give blood, you take that blood and you're selling that blood. We are giving it for free. Then pay us to give you, pay the people, then you can sell the blood. But people are giving free blood. People go to the hospital to find direct. I don't, you know, my brother, I am a woman. And if nothing else, let us save our children. I have seen what a hospital looks like, what a real hospital looks like. I have seen what a maternity ward looks like. And for me, it's all lack of education, proper education in the fields that these guys or these nurses are in. It's not their fault. It's just not there. It's not their fault. They are doing, actually, they are working overtime. They're doing more than they're supposed to do, so they're overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed. How can we help them? Is to bring system in. Listen, I have a friend in the US that said, oh, I send all these machines and everything to the Gambia. I said, you're wasting your time. You're sending these so-called sophisticated machines to who? Before you send these sophisticated machines, maybe you need to find ways to educate these people, and then they can use this machine, because the machine will go there, and next thing is sitting somewhere in a corner. But if we train them how to use these scanning machines, all these other, you know, listen, how many people bring donations? How many of us in the US have brought donations to the hospitals? Go to the hospital and look for them. It's sitting there gathering until it's sold out or they sell it. Huh?
Right.
So we are doing the cart before the horse. Everything in the Gambia is putting the cart before the horse. We need to educate our populace. We need to educate our people. It all stems on that. It's education. And our nurses that we have, the few that we have that are, in their capacity, to be honest with you, they're doing so much more than they are supposed to. So what am I going to do in the healthcare system? A complete reform. They need to be trained. We need to have specialists. It's all here in our manifesto, the way forward for Gambia.
That's very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for your response to my question. And I really appreciate that, because these are things that we really need to think about and really ask presidential candidates, because what Gambia went through and where we are today, we can't afford to have a wrong precedent in place anymore. We cannot. We are at least 20 years behind times. So we are that much behind times. We cannot afford to have any wrong precedent in there. And I know in 2016, part of the reason why people elected, this president or voted without even checking anything was because they just want Gambia out. Even I always say that. I said it in my platform. I said, even if they brought a monkey from the outside, from the bush, and put it in there and say, this is our candidate, people are going to vote for that monkey just to get Gambia out. That was their thing. And
emergency.
And it didn't turn out very well. So we need to be very careful who we put in power. And that's part of the reason I wanted to make sure that Gambian people know who their candidates are. And as a result, I've said this back in 2019, and last week I released some audios from my platform that was sent directly to the IEC chairman to really make sure that we organize presidential candidates where we can ask questions about things like that. So
yes, because what you're saying is very correct. Listen, in the Gambia, we need to vet people, because, and this is why I go back to the regime that I was born in. I was born in the Jawara regime, and like I said, I see how hospitals were then, and I see how the hospital is deteriorating now. And these are the things that we have to work on to better our country. There's a lot of things that we have to do, but also we have to appeal to our brothers and sisters that are qualified internationally in the diaspora to come home. I encourage people from the diaspora to come, because you see, the education you have, if you are in the medical system in England, even on the lowest level that you are in England, you can do a lot for our people here. Some of you that are out there that are well vast in your field can even open a proper schooling system or nursing system or training system. And then we create platforms where we can send them out to study. You know, the help is not just in the Gambia alone. We know the education system is whack and we don't have time. But how do we fast track these things? It's for every Gambian that calls themselves a Gambian that is sitting out there in the diaspora to say, you know what, they must sacrifice. Nothing comes without sacrifice. Huh? Nobody can do it for us. No one can do this for us. If not, we're going to have the same thing. Foreigners are going to come here and we're going to sit there and lament why foreigner, if you don't want the foreigner, then come home. I am here. I am one diaspora and that is here. And I've sacrificed everything to be here. And it's not easy. So I talked to a sister of mine that was, I was encouraging her, was one of my sisters that passed away, may her soul rest in peace, which was Bebe Sherry. And this is one of the discussions I have with Bebe Sherry. I said, Bebe, fongen nyipsi. Dengen na nyipsi ngen japale ma, because man munuma def li man kena, why ñu xam na ne ñun ñep suñ taxawé ñu tété loxo. Sector ci yeb dinañ ko jagal, because we all know what is quality. Because we come from that era of quality. Even our education was quality. When I show a teacher the other day calligraphy, how to write, what we used to call running hand, munema li lan la. Hamatuñ lolu. Munema li lan la, man ko it's a B. Penmanship was something you were proud of. You know? So it's not just medical, it's not just the hospital, it's everything. Children, listen, I went to villages where children go to school at the age of 10. So if children go to school at the age of 10, school, you will put the boy to school and leave the girls to get married at the age of 12. You talk about you've taken girl-child marriage, but what did you put in place of girl-child marriage? Nothing. There's no platform. Go to the provinces, you'll see the reality. My brothers, we can sit here all day and talk, but I put into account, I'm calling on every diasporan right now, because I'm not that person that is scared of the diaspora, because I am from the diaspora and I know what we can do. And I know the strength and the, you know, the only time people are, how do you call it, have a complex or have a problem with the people from the diaspora is because of the challenge. The reason why we are not educating our masses. We are not educating our masses because we don't want to be challenged. We don't want people to ask questions because we don't want to be challenged. Why not? When you challenge us, then we do better. You can challenge me today. I can listen to it. I can think about it. I can go back in my corner, but I can come back and give you the answer. That's what it is all about. We're all not perfect. We all don't know everything.
Yeah. So, Murray, I'm glad I'm gonna come here. I don't want to let you off the hook here with the diaspora, because I'm a diaspora, and I'm gonna come to their defense. Okay, Murray, you are one diaspora, and I have to applaud you for taking the bold decision and going back home. And this is perhaps Alice and some are sitting there. They'll be like, "Wow, what are we doing here? Or where should we go?" Just to make it this thing, just to be fair. I like to be fair. You know, I congratulate you for your bold decision, having plans and putting plans in place. Okay, some of the diasporans have children here, young children like myself. You know, toddler. They have it difficult. You know, like having to, you know, be away. You know, not in the guidance of those kids. I don't mean that those who are not married or kids are grown, but responsibility in diaspora cannot be done by one parent. I mean, usually if it is done, it's usually affected. So that being the case, some people have that that reservation. That's why they speak from far, and it doesn't mean that, you know, being speaking from far is cowardly or you are just talk. You know, somebody afar can have more, I mean, like a more heart for somebody on the ground, or more vision, or more, you know, like you know, level, can even perhaps lead that country better. That's why I didn't agree with the constitution that dual citizens shouldn't be holding the post of presidency, because I think that is last week I told Geso, one of the author of the constitution, that was a disappointment to the diasporans. But he went on and defend by saying that, you know, if you want to be the number one country, why wouldn't you give the other citizenship? So that's why I kept quiet, because you know I couldn't pass that point. But the thing that Ali Fasala said, you could retain your dual citizenship when you are ready to be sworn, then you can give it up. That makes more sense, and I brought that up. But again, Geso keep going back and say, if you want to become the number one man, we shouldn't even go that far. So that's why I stopped. But just to make a story short, some guys, when they come to the Gambia, they are been seen as threat. In a sense, you mentioned it before. They have been seen as threat because perhaps they know more, and they say, you know, you're not a sign, in Mandinka. And then some people would even do like some kind of voodoos into, you know, your office and stuff like that. Your slippers getting lost. I've seen stories of that. You know, your stuff are getting lost, you know, in your office just because the position that, you know, like you hold. One of my friend, we were in John Jay together. He was the immigration #1 man. And when I went to visit him, he told me, you know, I want to implement the American system here, transparency, you know, do things the right way and so forth, you know. But I know even though they were gonna Moria me and all that because they were not like that. They're used to that kind of, you know, like you know, corruption, that kind of things, that if you are too tough to make sure that nobody steals, then you get into this spiritual fight. So these are all things diaspora complain. And I don't want to get into this, you know. I want to live my life, so it doesn't work. So again, it's a lot of things holding them, but I think we also need to be sensitized. And I guess, that's why a platform like this is important. So just to give you a benefit of the doubt for people who are not going, it's a little bit work to do, and it's a lot of work to do on us, so that we can start to transition. And I'm part of that part. People also who could, offer some, and then some, I believe, Alice, they all have a bunch of knowledge. So this is a working in progress. But again, you can hammer us anyhow you want. Please do, because you are a great example, but I agree with that. And then one day I was talking to Dr. Ceesay. He said, we need to tap to diasporans. You guys are, abundance of knowledge, abundance of abilities that we need to tap into to get Gambia moving forward. So I just want to, one way I agree with you, but another way I'm giving the concerns that the diasporans have when trying to go back home. And of course, they also have the life that they are used to here. Sam knows driving fancy car. You don't see the dust. You don't see the dust too often. I have to read it.
Mr. Sawaneh,
all those fancy lights kind of like, I know I have to be honest. This
Mr. Sawaneh, hold on. We can sit here, and this is even African Americans that are coming to the Gambia. This is what I tell them. I said, when you go to Africa and you say you're going home, home is what you make of it. You make your home how you want it to be. You can go home to a hut, but if you want that hut to become a mansion, then you need to go and start working it. We cannot come from Gambia and sit about, we're complaining about the dust or the this or the that. You want to take that dust off, you come and fix it. You see, all these things that I'm hearing you say, Mr. Sawaneh, I'm very sorry, are excuses, because I came here with my kids. My kids have never lived in Africa before. They are born in the US, and they were sitting there, I don't even live next to Africans. I don't really integrate because I'm so busy. So I brought them to Africa to show them what Africa is all about. It takes a sacrifice. So buge sa dekadanga sacrifice. But you don't sit there and, we with the family, with the this, and then with the dress and the lifestyle. My friend, I was outside for 30 years and I lived a beautiful lifestyle, a very fulfilling lifestyle. I lived in Spain where they call me the most morena más guapa in las Islas Canarias. But at some point in my life, I said, you know what? I want to go home, because when you go home, that's where you belong. That is where your people are. That is, I can do whatever I want here. But it takes all of us to do that. All these things that we're talking, the lifestyle. What lifestyle? When you were here, did that lifestyle bother you? The people that are here, did it bother them? We need to come and fix this. We cannot allow anybody to fix that for us.
I just wanted to,
let's Alice come in. I know Sam has some, but let's Alice come in, and we need to hire from Sisaho too, because I'm just trying to make the playing field here. It's not like that's what I think, but I'm hearing, I'm gathering that in defense of the diaspora. So just do it to make the conversation interesting. But go ahead. Go ahead, Alice.
No, Mr. Sawaneh, this is a better example for you to see now. This is why we are behind her, because we know that she's an iron lady. You can read it and you can hear it from herself now. And then this has made most Gambians to be happy and rally behind Mari. You can hear it from horse's mouth now.
Okay, thank you for solidifying that, Ciesay. Thank you. So Alice can come in with the question, Alice, I know Sam has something also. Okay.
Yeah, Mari, for me, I just wanted to say something just right now. What we are talking about, diaspora and so also. I mean, it's very right, it's even my wish, and maybe Sam's wish or other people's wish. Because I even tried to, I think I told you, try to do something there for the youths. I took even 2 weeks holidays, just going up and down in the Gambia. Some people, they take 2 weeks to go to the beach. You understand? So even my last appointment by GRTS, I had to cancel it because I had to fly. So just for you to know that there are more people like me in the diaspora, you know, who are also making their plans and thinking. Even this platform, for your information, we're sacrificing it for Gambia because I don't have time. Sam is the same, you know. Sawaneh the same. For me, I contribute these 2 hours every Sunday, but normally I don't even have weekends. So busy I am. So I say at least I sacrifice these 2 hours for my people. You know. So I mean there are people who say, "No, okay, I'm here. Why am I going home?" But they have their reasons too. One need to understand. You understand? Uh, right now, you cannot just take one diaspora and say go to Gambia. Where is that person going to start? You have seen it. The people deported from US. They are still struggling. It's not as easy as you are saying. When they come, everything is paradise. No, you know it. Maybe you have even advantage. Maybe you have a little bit in your pocket. But imagine somebody starting to hustle here and he's sent from Spain or Germany because of their these hustle things. You know, I'll come to that too. So you cannot expect that person to come and start immediately in the Gambia with this situation. Your idea is very, very okay. It's excellent. But after you be the president, then I can agree with you. But you cannot say now to expect any Gambian to leave his job and family and say sacrifice because he sacrificed his life to leave Gambia. That's what people need to understand. People sacrifice their life to leave Gambia. We should not forget that. And we lose thousands of youths in the sea. Just why? Because there is nothing in Gambia. You understand? I can come to Gambia today.
Yeah,
I
but
can
Mr.
come. I can come to Gambia today. It's my home.
Yeah.
Gambia is my home. Home is home.
Mr. Yeah.
I'll mention a very important point here, Mari. You know, unless you can, you know, like you are saying something here that we should go and do it. But now, you know, if we go and try to do it and we get stopped, and then our people are not changed, you know, where the problem is, and see, two places the problem is: our leaders and our people. Our people have the opportunity 2021. I mean 2016. The coalition, they screw up. They messed up big time. We have a golden plate on our hand to change everything, to make sure that the presidency is, you know, accounted for, the balance of power, to make sure that the constitution is implemented. Who messed it up? Our own self. So if people sacrifice their lives, they went. You know how many people went after the 2016 from diaspora? Ceesay, Booker C, and other people.
That's what I wanted to say.
So what Alas is
there are
saying is
many.
that
They have to even leave Gambia again and come back.
Yeah,
because there was no future for them.
You know, a selected few because of their political interests. You know, I think what we have to hammer when you talk about diaspora problem, supposed to start from the top. These people who had the opportunity to make history and they screw it up. Now, us going there would not make any change. We can even do better here by sensitizing like what we are doing, or trying to do, you know, like philanthropic works or stuff like that. Better
Mr. Sawaneh, I will not agree to any of that. Mr. Sawaneh, let me tell you something. You all sitting there, I can be in the US today and sitting just like all of you and be very comfortable and be talking from a distance. But I am a woman and I came here since 2011 and I've been fighting. And it's not easy to the point where we didn't frustrate you yet. You understand? So I went through, if you have gone through, me as a woman with kids, how do you think, what do you think I went through? From Jammeh's regime to now, what do you think I went through since I came back? I even wrote to Yaya Jammeh 5 pages. I even invited me and sat with me and could not understand because I put everything on paper. One thing I didn't do is call names, but I was frustrated. But I sat with him and I spoke with him and I told him, I put everything on the table. He even said, oh, you know, you are just like this. I said, yes, I only fear Allah. I only fear God. I fear no man. Because you see, when you believe believe in what you want to do, and when you really say you want to help, we can all sit in diaspora and look in and talk. I don't do that. It has been a big challenge for me being in the Gambia. It has been a big challenge with my kids, not being used to the system, or not being used to the food, or not being used to the people, the way of life here. But I still stayed, because there's no success without challenge. There is absolutely no success without challenge. And me as a woman, if I can do it, then why not the men? You understand? When you come here, you get frustrated. You get frustrated. But it's how strong are you in what you want to do and your belief of your people. You can do it. I didn't just stand and say I'm standing as a politician.
Sorry, it always depends, Marie. When I come to Gambia now and bring a lot of money, then I can talk the other way around and tell people, look, you know, and that's what I'm dreaming. I used to say, home is home, it's my paradise. But Gambia, you need to have money. Because you are talking about the diaspora and leaving their jobs coming there. Where is the guarantee when they come, they'll fit anywhere to feed their family?
Mr. Ngerr, when you left, was there a guarantee for you where you were going? When you left,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. People are sacrificing their life, leaving Gambia. That's the time now, whether you know it or not. We lost thousands of youths in the sea. Why? Because they knew that there was nothing there. So when you come, you are having a little bit of money. You can live in Gambia. I used to say that. Gambia is nice to live, but you have to get money. So if I ask you, how is the education system? You name it here just now. And how is the unemployment rate? I can tell you. Our youth, they have nothing. There's no future for them. So should I tell any youth now who has the chance to go to the greener pasture to feed his family home, to tell now you have to go back, you know, because you are a Gambian? So what is behind it? When I send him back, I cannot feed him. I cannot feed his family.
I understand the back way. You are talking about people going the back way.
Generally, anybody I ask now to go home is a big responsibility, because I am not the person who is going to take out my money and give it to him to feed himself and his family. And the government now will not do that too. And you too are not going to do that, because you are having also your responsibilities. So just saying that is very simple for me. You understand what I mean? Because if I tell you to put your hand in the fire, I have to make sure that I have to heal you. If I cannot, I should keep my mouth shut. When you are a president, it's very good that you have this imagination and these plans for the future as a Gambian on Gambian and heart. You understand? It's very, very, very reasonable. And that's what I love also. People who don't just skin goat orders and so as politics, but to say, this is what I want to do when I am there. You understand? That's why I like, that's what I like it. It's a plus point for you from me. But this thing of diasporans going out, we have experienced it. As Sawaneh said, do you know how many diasporans wanted to start something in the Gambia just after Jammeh went? Do you know how many diasporans even went? They have to pack their things and run away again. Many Gambians don't know that. Many Gambians don't know that. I can name you. I can name you a lie. So when these people are hearing what you say, they laugh.
I understand that.
That's it. That's my point. Okay, I know you have a good intention, but we call a spade a spade. I mean, it's political time. I like it when you say, this is my plan, this is what I want to do. You know, I even used to say, we have to respect the woman. You know, we have to respect the woman, because before nobody considered the woman as even somebody, but politics is gender neutral. You understand? We are having chancellery. It's a woman. But these things took time. You know, our last session, I was even
and she could be the first woman president. Who knows?
Doesn't matter, because we should take out that mentality. We have to take out that mentality.
That will, because Gambians, believe me, are behind her.
Yeah, we have to take out that mentality. You know, with gender also. For me, I mean, I don't like it. Why? before you can talk about masculine power, you know, so that was this force. And then when you are not a man, you don't have muscles, you are nothing. But time has changed. That now machines are doing the job. Machines, one machine is doing a job from 10 men. So what
For
do we
10
need?
people. Yeah,
What do we need now? Competence and intelligence.
exactly.
So, and this is the will of God.
That is not gender bias. Competent
And that is not gender bias. And
yes.
God gave it to us and women. There are some part of the brain of the woman, they can even think better than we as men.
Excellent.
That's why, even here in Germany, if you see the statistics, the accidents, you know, the men used to laugh the women and say they cannot drive. But when you see the statistics, you see that just 10% of the accidents are women. All of them are men. So that means they are very careful in thinking. And so they also have another way of thinking. That's why sometimes they don't come with men to an agreement, you know, because they see things and repeat it sometimes 10 times in their brains, things like that. But it is formed like that. You understand? If not, it's going to be boring. So we have to try and kick away this mentality. Is a woman cannot do that. No. Because now it's about just competence and intelligence. When the woman can think better or the same way as a man, it's the same person. But this thing we have to eradicate first in our society. Because I know for you, it's also something new. Many people will also try to say or even criticize, what is a woman doing here also? Because they don't know that we come to a situation or a stage in life where a woman can do everything.
Or maybe they are
The
our
man can
savior.
do.
Yeah.
And now, through experience, you're seeing it. They are popping out everywhere. You know, here we are having a woman leading. Even in the European Union now, it's a woman leading there. This lady is from Germany. So you go to Asia, you're having presidents who are women. So it's showing you that the women are coming. Our last session here, was it about ladies and so? That was my advice too. Women should not think that they don't have the chance. They have the same brain. They have the chance, but they have to just go to school and use the chance, the time, and the opportunities. They should forget about this is something only men can do. This is nonsense. That was yesterday, not today. Because today the pilots at the in the airplanes are all women, most of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, going to our space center. You know, before it was believed that only men can do that, but the time has changed. You understand? Or women cannot contribute in the economical situation, and so that is nonsense. Women have been contributing since the time we were living in the caves, where the men bring the hunted animal, and the women have to take care of it and try and keep it so that it can stay long. That is contribution in the economy.
Women were warriors, Mr.
So,
Ngerr.
yeah,
Women
it just,
were warriors.
but it was just a time that heavy things, because the woman muscle was not made for that. So the men were respected, like they brought this force, you know. So they were seen from the women as the highest person. You know, even walking was masculine too. So, but now we have a time. If I can use the computer, you can use the computer the same way. So how can I say that I can do more than you? Maybe you can do even more than me. So,
Right,
women are definitely, Mr. Ngerr, a lot of women are doing a lot more than men, because we, the women, we work, we take care of the house, we take care of the children, we take care of the schooling of the children, we still go to work, we still split 50-50 with you, and we still get up and we do it all over again. We cannot even get sick. Some women cannot even afford to get sick. So women are doing more. The only reason why women stayed back on certain areas, like in governance and all this, is because because in different societies in the world put women there. But now women are like, you know what, if we can do 50-50 in the house and still do everything that we are doing, we might as well just lead. Because look around the world, the men are messing up. So it's time for us to fix that. It's time for women to stand up and fix the mess, because we're not fixing it for our husbands, we're fixing it for our children. We're fixing the situation for our children, for the generations to come. Mr. Ngerr, if you go to the provinces and you see a 3-year-old kid or a 5-year-old kid, no, none of these men are thinking of their tomorrow, for what they will become in 20 years' time. In 20 years' time, that 3-year-old kid and a 5-year-old kid will be 23, 25. Nobody's thinking about them. It only takes a mother to think about the future of that child. Nakala school, nakala what is there in the provinces for them? There's absolutely nothing. You go to the provinces, we can all sit in America and look out and it's nice. But my brother, if you go to the provinces, you will cry. You will cry. You see a household with 4 kids and a school that allows only 2 children per household. So if they allow 2 children per household, who do you think the parents are going to select? They're going to select the 2 boys. They're going to leave the 2 girls at home. Thank you. And the girls stay home till they're 10, 12. Then they get married. They marry them off very young. So you educate the boys, you leave the girls. But then even if you educate the boys, and guess what? A school that stops at grade 3, that school stops at grade 3, the one I saw. So you are telling me the whole population of about 2,000 inhabitants are uneducated?
Yeah, but you know, we have that problem in Gambia too, that we have a lot of illiterates, the percentage is very high even, you know. And I mean, it's not bad, on the other hand, for some politicians, because they need such people to vote for them. You understand?
But it is very bad.
I'm just quoting that.
When you want to create, Sawaneh, when you want to create jobs, and your populace is uneducated, how can the country move forward? Then you end up hiring foreigners. You end up bringing foreign bodies in your country to work for you because your populace is uneducated. If politicians think that by uneducating the masses is a plus for them, no, it's not a plus, it's a negative, because it hurts even you, the politician, or you, the sitting president, because you cannot move, you cannot put your country where your country is supposed to be because your populace is uneducated. But if you educate your populace, every opportunity that comes in, you can grab because you have the workforce.
Yeah, I mean, it's true what you said here also, that the diaspora should come, because, I mean, when you are a president, you know, we're talking about, then the diaspora should come.
I pray to God that it happens and all my brothers and sisters sitting there can come, because I came without money. You sitting, Mr. Ngerr said I came with money. No, I came with £1 in my pocket.
No, it's okay. I just say that. I just tip that, you know, because you never know the condition of people, you know. Because right now you are saying you are giving yourself an example, but I have also an example.
Sam has something to say.
Some people are from US and they wanted to go back home to US and they cannot afford it. So that's another situation, and it's real.
Yeah. Okay.
So you never know.
Yeah. I think Sam has something to say, and I have another guest from Denmark who want to just contribute on the use.
Yes, Sam.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what I wanted to say is going back to the fundamentals, if you look at the current law, the 1997 Constitution that we're working with, there is a barrier in there that deprived people from the diaspora to do certain things in Gambia. Number one, even presidential candidate, there is something in there that says that you have to live in Gambia for at least 3 or 5 years. I can't remember which one. It's 3 or 5 years before you can even be a president. So that's a block for, that was a bad law that was put in place during Jammeh's time. And of course, it was the 1997 Constitution. It's really bad for us. And then you come to the dual citizenship. Then you go to the other stuff and the voting rights that we're deprived from. Even though recently I heard from announcements that the Supreme Court has changed certain things or agreed and declared certain things that need to be done, which, by the way, should thank the people that follow that up. I was doing on the other side. I have a group, I have a platform called Solutions for Gambia, where we look for solutions. We know the problems already. We talk about solutions. And in that platform, I have National Assembly members in there. And I was using them, well, not using them, but talking to them and say, why don't you guys change this law? We need to change these laws. These are things that are holding people. We talk about a lot of things that anytime involves National Assembly, I talk to them, I say, this is what they need to do, to work on. Unfortunately, it's been a very slow process. But first, before people from the diaspora can really get in and get involved in Gambia, we need to lift and lift those bans and need to change those. So if you become president, would you work with these legislatures to make sure that all of these laws change so that people in the diaspora will have the opportunity to contribute in their country? Other than that, the only thing we can do is sit here and talk, or sit here and propose solutions, just like I am doing. I have a solutions for Gambia. I propose solutions, and some of those solutions, believe it or not, have been implemented by this government, the current government. You know what I mean? So that's how far we can go. There's not much we can do other than sit down and talk, because we are banned from doing certain things by the Constitution, and that Constitution need to change first. So if you become president, would you follow up to make sure that all of these barriers that are out there that blocks diasporans from interacting or getting involved in anything in the Gambia, would you make sure that those will go away? What would you do?
First, I will talk on myself in the sense that I am from the diaspora. I am a US citizen, and I am here today, as I'm telling you, I think this is the first time I'm saying it on a platform, that I have already even spoke with the embassies and everything, that I'm renouncing my US citizenship. The reason why I'm doing all that sacrifice is so that exactly what I'm saying can happen, because we cannot go forward in this country without having our learned brothers and sisters in the diaspora to come and join us. Most of you in the diaspora might not want to do what I'm doing today, but I am doing that. It's a sacrifice. It's a calling for me that I sacrifice my US citizenship and become a Gambian. Yes, I take a big risk. It's a big risk. I might never be able to go back to the US to see my family. I can never be able to go back to see my children, but guess what? They can travel to come and see me. And if that is what it takes, to change the narrative so that all of us that are out there come back home and participate and be part of and develop our country, then so be it. And I'm doing that sacrifice as a Gambian, for everybody. I don't know if that answers all your questions, because I think that's the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah, let me go back to that. What you did, I will commend you for doing that. And thank you for doing that. And sometimes they say, and we all say, and we all know, what works for one person may not work for others. You know, that worked for you very well, and you were able to do that. So thank you for doing that. But, you know, when it comes to the law should not ban people from doing that. That's the law. That, you know, we need to look at our Constitution and change that to be able to accommodate everybody, to be able to accommodate the people in the diaspora, to be able to even vote. You know, not only voting, but be able to do other things that the law, the 1997 Constitution, banned them from doing. So we need to make sure that's the solution. Not the solution is not.
Sam, if I'm going to the extent of proving a point, because of the way the law is, I'm trying to break that barrier by making sure that, hey, you know what, since the law says so, I'm willing to do this to break that barrier. And once I break through, then I can change that so that everybody else can have that opportunity to come home. Everybody else can have that opportunity to be part of decision makings here. Everybody can have that opportunity. One of the reasons we have the Alliance of Social Democrats in the US is only because I have two Alliance of Social Democrats in the Gambia, Alliance of Social Democrats in the US. And we are going to have a tactical thinking team or a critical thinking team. This is a team comprising of whether you're Gambian or not Gambian, or Gambian in the diaspora, to be able to have a voice, to be involved in how we run the country. That is the reasons I came up with all these fantastic ideas, and everything I came up with includes and involves around the diaspora, because I am from the diaspora. I know what I went through in this country. There's no need to go beating a dead horse. And I see how many people and how the diaspora contributed to the 2016 elections. Financially, I know that, because right now, even when I talk to the people from the diaspora to support me, you know, we have already supported the, you know, and look at what happened. And I feel it. I have a gentleman, he's in Germany. He's an industrial welder. An industrial welder. He can make nails. He can make corrugate. We don't need to import nails from China. This guy can open up a school for, and train skills. We're talking about skills. This guy can give a platform to do that for our young people. You talk about creating jobs. You're talking about teaching kids. Our school cannot take everybody. Even when you create a going back to school program for the people to go back to school, you still have some people are skills. The mindset is for skills, skill set. So how do we promote that? We have people in the diaspora who can do all these things. And how do we encourage them? So I am taking that ultimate sacrifice so that, yes, all these things, somebody have to break it. Somebody have to say, yes, there's this law, a diaspora cannot do this. Oh, you cannot run. Listen, when I spoke to the embassy and I said, if I denounce, what happens? Well, you might never get a visa to the US. That should scare everybody, right? That should scare everybody.
Yeah.
And they said, are you sure that the decision you're about to make or the decision you're making, really the people will appreciate it, that this decision, da, da, da. I said, well, I gave you my kids. My kids served in the Navy, in the US Navy, all of them. So let me serve my country. And if this is the ultimate sacrifice I have to do to break through these barriers, then so be it. So I know I have a lot of fight coming. I have a lot of
but
fight
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
You have a dream, and
Yes.
follow your dream, no?
So I'm gonna come up here to Murray and then probably move to other things because the diaspora thing, I think we have exhausted that now. Murray is ready to sacrifice, and then we know the repercussion to it. Most people would not do it. We are giving all corners, in this debate. I think Sam and Alice did a wonderful job as well as Murray, in kind of to look at both sides. So I think we have really put in a lot. Now I understand with all what Murray just said. Now even you cannot even get a visa. So even if to renounce your citizenship would be something that everybody will have to think twice if you want to serve your country at that level. Now the only thing is I'm gonna have to move on to ask questions now is as a female president, what is your what do you think Gambia is ready to elect a female president? That's question number one. And then there's another question that says, would you do coalition with another party? Because most people are saying that all the small parties coming are there to do a coalition so they can have position in the government, in the next government. So are you one of those? Being that your party just came up, and then perhaps you don't have the political muscles or foundation like other political parties. And then those two questions, if we can just, is Gambia ready for female president? And then are you willing to do coalition if need be? And then if you are given a ministry position or something, would you take it?
I will make that very simple for you, Mr. Sawaneh. When I came out, I said something, and I'm going to say it again. That's one of the reasons I have this organization, or I'm part of this organization that we have here. I'm not looking for any collision. I'm not interested in any ministry position because I'm not going to work and somebody sits back and, the good name I'm supposed to have, somebody else will damage it, because we need a complete system revamp. And I don't think that what we have right now, or what we see, most of these politicians, I know them very well, and I'm not interested in collisioning with either one of them. I do ask for endorsement, which everybody is thinking, oh, she's not well, she's asking for endorsement. Endorsement means, find that right person that's not divided by political affiliation or religious or tribal to stand. That doesn't mean I don't work with everybody. I want to work with everybody, but not to collision. Collision is tricky in the sense that everybody's looking for position. Everybody's looking to be placed somewhere. And I don't know the working capacity of these people, or some of them. Some I know their working capacity. And I don't have time, working with people that are just sitting there for the benefits or the good benefits. Everything comes with benefits. No, it's not about benefits for me. It's about a sacrifice so that our country can start moving again, so that we can see all the wrongs that are being done, so we can set that right. People that really want to work for the heart of work. So I'm not interested, and I'm saying it right here on this platform, in any collision at all because I'm not looking for minister post. Win or no win, we have our association, which is our political association, which is the Alliance of Social Democrats. An Alliance of Social Democrats is here to stay regardless. So it's not about going to the State House. It's not about living in a big house or living in a mansion like State House. We used to go there and play with Kausudem and stuff back in the day. So we've seen the State House. So that's not something of today. So no, my answer is no coalition, but they can endorse.
Now, do you think Gambia is ready for female presidency? What are your chances?
Well, Gambia has not seen a female that has gone through to the end, except Dr. Aissatou Toure, and she later joined. But of course, we all come from we all made from different stock and different bone. Gambia needs to give us women a chance, because if you look at the political arena right now, it's all about competition. It's all about male ego. And we don't have time for that. We have our children to take care of. We have the future of Gambia to take care of. And us as mothers, we need to make sure that we take care of our future, the future of our children and grandchildren. If I tell men in the provinces, and this is how I get them to understand me, I said, sir, if you have 4 girls in your house, if you have 4 girls in the house, you want to say you don't want 1 girl from the head of state? You don't have no boys. Yalla may la dom bu goor. Dom bu jigen rek la may. Bugulo ben dom bu jigen bi nek president. Then they say aha kay. I say bugulo ben dom jigen bi nek doctor. Aha kay. Bugulo ben dom bu jigen bi nek dara. Aha kay. So you see, when you start putting it like that to them, because men unfortunately have a selfish nature. You have to put things into their plate for them to understand and see. So when I say, if you have 4 girls, won't you want one of them to be a president? They said, yes. I said, so why not me? Take me as that daughter. Because we need to fix our country. It's not about me, it's about country first. It's about our children, our future. So Ghana will be ready, because they have seen what the men has done. They have seen what happened. Women are the ones that stand on platforms and clap for men. Women are the ones that are in the gele-geles, are the ones that are there talking, mothers, sisters, daughters, clapping for these men, only to be disappointed at the end of the day. It's too much. So let us fix it. Let us go up, we fix it, and we give it back. We fix it for our children.
Yeah.
When we fix it, we give it back to our kids.
And I believe in the work ethic and then the commitment that women when given power. So I think that could work. Now, you talk about social democracy, on this platform that supports you, which is which is in align with DOI and other social and other parties that promote a little bit social politics, social democracy, which personally I'm not in support of any political party, but I understand social democracy a little bit, and I perhaps think that is a solution for Gambia at this point, more than any other ways. Personally, I'm just giving you my personal position, because I think Gambia, there's a big gap between the rich and then the poor. There are so poor. So socialism, some little bit of socialism we need to bring their lives up. So since the platform that is supporting you with Mr. Cisaho, Cisaho chaired, is a social democrat position. What is your idea? What is your approach in equality in social democracy? What is your as a president? What is your approach? What is your plan? What are you planning to do? What would you do different from Hadi Fasala's social party and so forth? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I don't think Mary got you. I don't think Mary got your last question.
Okay,
yeah,
Mary,
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Did you get my question or not? I can repeat.
Yeah, you went off for a bit. I think
okay.
We all
what I'm saying, it looks like the platform that's supporting you says social democrats, and it will,
alliance of social democrats.
Yes. So when I see social there, I believe is the same social kind of a social democracy with some socialism. Now, which I think personally would help Gambia more than any other approach. So what I'm trying to say, Hadi Salah's party, PDOIS, is a socialism party, has some socialism in it. What would you do in terms of, the gap between the rich and the poor in the Gambia? Some people are really poor, we forgot about them. What would you do to uplift their life? And what is your difference between your approach and the DOI's approach?
Yes, when you talk about, DOI is more on a social, when you talk about socialism. Socialism is different from when you're socially involved, or when what we call alliance of social democracy. Alliance is all inclusive. It already speaks for itself. So we are all inclusive. That means nobody left behind. The Alliance of Social Democrats, these are all people coming together, all kinds of people, all walks of life coming together, because we need to affect social change. We need to be able to affect from Banjul to Koina. We cannot just be up here and then eating ripping everything and leaving the ones in the provinces to hang in there. I don't know much about socialism, because the countries that were socialist were not so popular, and something went wrong there. So I'm not a socialist. I'm not into socialism, but I want Gambia to be all inclusive. I want every child, every person in the Gambia to have a piece of the pie, as we say. You understand? We cannot just develop the Congos and leave the provinces. The people in the provinces are as important as the people here. The people that are in, Basse, have the same rights as the people here. And when we all come together as one, which is all inclusive, which is the Alliance of Social Democrats, all inclusive, nobody left behind, I think we'll have a better Gambia. When you talk about socialism, you look at countries that were socialism. Yes, they made it, Russia, but
China.
I don't know if that works well for the populace. And anyway, is Gambia ready for real socialism? You understand? Because we are democratic. It says Gambia is democratic. So we have to break through. That's one of the reasons we said Alliance of Social Democrats.
Okay.
Okay, that's clear.
So I don't know whether I define, and I can read some of our bylaws here that we have on the Alliance of Social Democrats. One of them is engage in poverty eradication programs and provide the basic needs of the masses through deliverables that are precisely the one demanded by its citizens, like security, healthcare, education, water, protection to citizens and property, protection to the environment, and the ability to vote and get paid fair wages. So that's just one line of what we stand for.
Yeah, I mean, that is socialism.
Yes, it is.
Because what you said is true. I mean, we all want to copy America or here in Europe, being capitalism. But capitalism, we practicing it in Gambia, but I don't think it's the best model, because capitalism, you can do it after a stage where many people have money. A rich country, then it's easy, then it's optimal. But practicing it in a poor country like Gambia, I think the best to fit is socialism, because I mean we are living it already, because we've been living it in the Gambia since. If I don't have, I try to share the little I have with you. That is socialism, and that's what we
Yes, but Mr. Ngerr, when we talk about socialism, there's also extreme socialism. Now, if you hear what we said social democrats. So
yeah. I'm just saying from your points there,
Yeah, but somebody said that
socialism can be extreme.
Somebody said that you don't understand Doy's theory of socialism.
Well, I'm not in DOI, so I don't need to understand Doy's idea of socialism, because DOI has been around for 30 years, and I don't understand what they have done.
But did you ever made an effort to look at all these parties, their this thing,
Agendas.
manifestos.
Well, let me say something. I have been, like I said, DOI have been around for 30 years. And if I am in a party, if I have a political party for 30 years or 20 years, I want to come home and say, yeah, this political party here, they're big, they're huge, they've been here so many years, they built this school, they built that, they did that, they own this hospital. You know, that's what I see, you know, and I don't see that. I'm sorry. You understand?
Mr. Sawaneh,
Yeah,
But I can say something.
Mary,
Marie,
when you come into a political
When
place,
it's paper,
Can I just-
Mr. Sawaneh, when it's paperwork.
you guys are trying to compare two things together here. DOI, the socialism, the mind they have, what they have at the back of their mind is totally different here. If you look at DOI, since Jawara's era, how people are quoting them. You can remember our ex-president Jawara, what he was saying about DOI.
that was those were not true though. What he was saying about DOI were not true. Those were
I mean, I don't know whether you are a supporter to DOI, but you yourself know what.
So let me just try to come in very shortly and clear the air.
The mentality they have and the mentality we have right now is totally different.
Because
No.
Mr. Sawaneh, paperwork and lots of policies, a lot of writing is beautiful. You understand? I admire my brothers that can write. I admire that my brothers that can come with tons and tons of papers and policies and policy upon policy upon policy. Fantastic, you know? But hey, last time I checked, I didn't see anything being developed. If you talk about socialism and all that, what have you really done as a party then all these 30 years? It's not 30, it's 1988 to today. That's a long time. That's a long time to waiting. Hold on one second, sir.
Sorry.
Hold on one second, sir. I know you're a DOI, but
we don't
let
want
me
to
tell you something.
accuse other parties here. I mean, Marie, we don't want to accuse other parties here or scapegoating. But I just wanted to say something because when you say,
I mean, all respect for Mr. Halifa Sallah. Trust me,
yeah.
These are all my elder brothers and uncles. You understand?
Yeah, I know. And we are having, it's definite because we are having political
what I want
here
to say is
that everybody.
I am not in DOI. I am not. I don't know their policy. Policy is great on paper. Policy is good on paper, but I don't see anything that they have done for when you talk about socialism, even as a party, even as a political party, and you talk about socialism, then you need to show that too. It should not just be a paper for 30 something years. It should be something that is being acted upon so people can see, because people in the provinces, they don't understand these things on paper. People in the provinces, they don't care about these policies on paper. People in the provinces, their policy is demabuga ndoh, they see ndoh, demabuga malo, they see malo, demabuga kurang, they see kurang, demabuga school, but them school, demabuga boss. That is their policy. The policy they want to see, feel, and eat it. You understand? So that is the difference. What we do is when we go somewhere and we see, we make reports and we come back and we try to see what we have. Even in our little capacity, since I came back, we go back to these places and we give back to the community. So whether we win or we don't win, we still have things that we put in place where people can see and people can, you know, say to them, this is what Marie Sok them did. This is what Alliance of Social Democrats did. And if we are 20 years around here, trust me, that 20 years, you'll see remarkable difference.
Okay.
Thank you.
I can give you plus points, but just one thing I wanted to say. I mean, you know, for Gambia, we have to change our way of making politics. You understand? And through that, we educate the people also. Why is it even an election? And who are they going to vote and how and why? You know? Because till now, we only have one tradition. If you look at our politics, if you want to win, you always have to throw stone and skin go the other, you know? So people are knowing only this tradition, you know? I'm just warning every political party, come out, tell the people your agenda, you know, and let the people decide and vote you. But not our old tradition to say, look at Marie is having a short hair, on such nonsense doesn't bring Gambia anywhere. We have seen it. That can only bring us backwards. We have a lot of problems to talk about in Gambia. The political parties, we are having almost 16 now. Everybody should come out. Yeah, we look at that. Every day is getting up. So the cake is going to be in fraction. I said that already. We are going to have a big surprise in December. I know that. So let people come out because Gambians are very, very open now and they are looking, especially people who used to promise people money. After when they have voted, they forget. That was a lie. And Gambians don't forget all these things. They know it. They are all keeping quiet. You know,
Yeah,
so when politicians think that they are doing their nonsense and Gambians don't know anything, they'll be surprised in December because
Yeah.
people don't forget anything. So what
So
I just wanted to say just now, because you just said something about Doi and so, I would say people should also inform the other people that you can only do something when you are ruling the government. You know, like you marry, one can say, oh,
well,
marry
we didn't say
and
anything.
so you
Mr.
know,
Ngerr,
but
don't try to
it's
quote
not.
her on that point.
Exactly.
If you say anything wrong about Doi, we are trying to make difference. We are
No,
trying
no,
to make
no.
difference here
I just
between Doi
no, no,
and
no.
Alliance of Social Democrats.
No, no, no. I just picked that point. You know, that's why I'm just trying to explain, because
Okay.
not only for Doi, but for you, Mary too, because that's how Gambian people will think. If I say now this man didn't do anything or something like that, people are thinking that okay, then you can do it too, but you cannot do it because you are not ruling. People have to understand who is at the opposition side, and you know Africa, when you can only be incumbent, you are having the key, you are having the money, you can try to buy anybody, you know, but the opposition, they have a lot to do to fight, to convince the people and things like that, because Gambia is poor. If I come out with money, some don't even believe in God at that time. You understand this mentality? So the opposition don't have always power to do something. I can be an opposition for 40 years, but I don't have the money to create a mosque. But that doesn't mean that the politic of that person is false or it's not good or it's not
No,
going
no,
to
no,
bring
no, 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 no.
something.
Mr. Ngerr,
Yeah, yeah,
with all due respect, Mr. Salah and Doi have been around for a long time and they have stood ground. If nothing else, honor should be given to them for standing their ground on where they stand for all those years. And that's respect to them living in what they believe in to where we are today. And they played a very vital role in the Gambia today. Mr. Salah himself is a very honest man who wants Gambia forward, you know, and everything. That's all fine, but that's not what we were talking about here. I have never come on any platform since I've been standing or running and talk about any political party, because all these heads in these political parties, somehow I know them from back in the day. You understand? I know them from back in the day, and I will not come here to disrespect anybody, because the same way I disrespect somebody, somebody will disrespect me. I give them all full respect. But what we are talking about here is what Alliance of Social Democrats is all about and what DOI is about. I don't know DOI. I'm not in DOI, but what I do know is that we are not 100% socialism, because extreme socialism is different. You understand? And this is what I'm talking about.
I think, Mary, what the task you have is to explain, because I'm seeing from comments that some people don't understand. So social democrats and then socialism. So you would be assigned to when on your toes or on your conversation, please do explain that.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's let Sam. You know, he's gonna go in a few minutes. Let's just allow him to say his final word. And I have one guest here to to have something to say. Then we can continue. We can consider wrapping up. Yes, Sam. If you have.
Finally, my time is up. I need to go, but I just want to thank you, Mary, and Mr. Fati, Mr. Fati as well. The two of you for taking the time to join this call. Very important. It's a good way to really, people like me didn't know you. I heard your name, but never knew you. And this is the first time seeing you in person, virtually. So thank you for taking the time to join this call. You know, I wish you all the best in your candidacy to become president of the Gambia. It's a huge role, it's a big task, and like I was saying earlier, Gambian people really need to take our time this time in December to nominate the right person that comes with the right mindset to rule this country and move the country forward. So I wish you all the best, and I want to thank you and thank Mr. Sawaneh and Alice and all of you. I'll have to
Okay,
watch the
something.
rest of it when I finish. I'll have to
Do
watch.
that in the car. But drive carefully. The life you save may be your own.
Yeah, well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here. I'm hosting another call for my hometown, so that's what it is. So, yeah. So thank you all. Thank you.
Okay. We have Mr. Njaga from Denmark.
Okay, welcome.
Yeah, so he just have something to contribute. If we can just...
Okay, can I have a minute? I want to bring a chair so that I can sit down.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. So one thing though, Murray, I wanna, before Mr. Njaha comes in, the Constitution, the standoff on the Constitution. What is your take on that? The retroactive clause and stuff like that. What is your position on that?
Well, one of the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing is because of the Constitution, and all. But I just feel that just like Honorable Salah said before, they should have probably taken the old Constitution and work on it and how do you call it, edit that, because it allows us to do that anyway. And everything that we want as a country going forward could have been done in that 1997 Constitution. But since that was not done and we now have a new Constitution, my take is, I think people are not very understanding of the Constitution, and we need to ask ourselves, the NAMs, the people that voted it out and the people that voted it in, whether they actually understood what they were voting in or out, whether they had the opportunity of coming together in a debate or in a platform where it can be broken down for them to understand it. You see, if something is not broken down and you give somebody to read, we all read differently, we all process differently, we all think differently. But if we all come together in a big room and we have days of debating and reading and talking to each other, it makes sense. Then we will not have the mess we have today. And the mess we have today is getting bigger and bigger by allowing even another statesman from another country to come and kind of fix it for us when there's no, how do you call it? It's not like something is wrong or we're having a big, how do you call it, pandemic of a constitution, when we could have solved it in our own, within ourselves as politicians first in our country, agree to disagree and understand it. If we cannot, then let it go right back to where it's supposed to go, which is the National Assembly. Let them sit on it again. Let somebody come and break it down. The team that wrote it, the team that put it together, let them sit together. Let them break it down to them in simple facts, in Wolof, in Mandingo, in Jola, in every language, so that they can understand it. Because when you understand something, then when you vote on it, you can have the reason why. But right now, if you ask them, why did you vote it out? Most of them can give you the answer why they voted it out. Some cannot give you the answer why they voted in. Maybe it's just one little clause they saw there. So this is the problem.
Okay.
And
so now, what do you say about the retroactive clause that is making the standoff? Because I believe that the politicians, most of the stakeholders were talking, and they were, they almost get agreed on everything except that. What is your take on that?
That for you mean for Barrow to stay for
retroactive clause?
That is about the term limit.
Term limit starting.
That's what I'm saying. The term limit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, for me, I think Barrow has done his, the president has done his first 5 years, and I think he has only 5 years to go. Listen, if you were in as a coalition president, and you would have come down at the 3 years, then you would have an opportunity to go to the polls again now. But if you neglect that, in 3 years, you never came down, which was part of an agreement for the coalition as a coalition president, and you decided to stay on, you're already using your 5 years. So you already have only 5 more years to go. That's not on us. That's not on us, the citizens, because you made that decision yourself with your team. But if you would have honorably stepped out at the 3 years, which was agreed, whether agreed or not agreed, but as long as it was something that, I come from a generation of Gambians where when we shake our hand, it's a deal. We don't even need to put it on paper. If I tell you dinako def, because that is what I know from the time I was in Gambia. We shake a hand, it's a deal. If you shake a hand and it's a deal, then honor that deal, come down, form your political party, you'll be even stronger than what you are right now. Because people will say, keep talking about 3 years, muwacha, no, keep gorla. Then you form a political party. What do you think will happen? The whole Gambia will follow you. Then you would win this other election automatically because now people have faith in you. People now working.
There will be advantage.
Thank you. You will have more advantage because already you have the money, you have the everything, you have the people have seen you. Then you can now run for another 5 years and then you can run for 2 terms. But if you decide on your own to say, you know what, I am going to sit another 5 years. People around you feel you have to sit for another 5 years because people around you probably have squandered so much that they don't want you to leave because they have to cover up for themselves or they have to cover themselves. So they're using you as a pawn to really be there for them, manipulating you another 5. That's not going to work. That's why people are upset. People are upset. So why give you an extra 2 more terms?
Yeah. So
why? That gives you 15 years.
So technically, Barrow is the one holding this constitution up. We have to.
But let us give Njaga something to say, maybe.
Yeah. No. We just finished that, and then Njaga would come in.
Yeah. Mr. Sawaneh. Yeah. Mr. Sawaneh, I just want to point out to a commentator on your platform. I want that commentator to know that, Mr. Halifa Sallah is a very good friend and a very good elder figure in our society. And I will not even stand for anybody to disrespect him. But Mr. Momodou Sarr, whoever he is, needs to respect himself.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's give Njaga now.
We'll get that noted. Thank you for.
I don't know what Njaga want to say now. Or question to Mary.
Yeah. Thank you, Mary, for bringing that up. We'll address that.
Hello, guys. I'm new here. I'm Njaga. I'm Njaga Juve. I live in Denmark. And okay, for me, like politics, I wouldn't say like politics is my way, but there is something that was always how I've grown up my life. Like I always want to know what is going in and out of my country. You understand? And I've done lots of political research. I've followed lots of politicians. I've always tried to figure out what can we do to develop a certain country. Okay, especially like our country. Maybe I found you talking about the constitution, the 2-term things and that. Maybe I will leave that side for you guys. What I'm more interested about is right now, our country is going down in a way that in a very bad way. Because of as I've talked with, I think it's Masane about a while ago, like 75% of our population is made of youths. And nearly 75% of them are below 40 years old. We have a problem in Gambia, a really, really, really difficult problem, because we have this kind of 3 types of categories that we are dealing with in Gambia. We have one category of the youths that are educated, but not that much, not that much educated. We have another category that they are not educated, but maybe they can do 1 or 2, 3 things that they can do in their lives to live. But you have another category that they are not educated and they can do anything for themselves. So there lies the problem. So what can we do? What can we do to help these 3 types of categories that we are dealing with in the Gambia? Now, when we come down to what should structure our future, you understand, we come down to education. We have a big problem in our educational system because of, as I know it, every country that you go, every country that you are in, the education system from the primary level to the university level, they are used to build our leaders. They are used to build our future for future responsibilities, people who can make our country go, people who can develop our country, people who can be responsible land that we have a river. New Gambia either it is salty water or either it is understand. We can use those rivers for irrigation. So that we won't even depend on every 3 months or in a year for rain. In a year, always we develop those lands so that we can try something that we can have this like food-based production. We can so that we can instead of new import law at the end, swing taxi at the end. Yeah, we have the sun, we have some natural resources, we have the river, we have the land. You understand? But the problem is we are not with people who are that much educated. So how can we help those people? So that's the problem. So the only thing we can do is try to create industries and companies, and you understand, home-based production. So you structure education system. So by that time, you generation take over. So you am discipline problem, am good moral problem, am educational problem, am amur Gambia. So man small problem, affair politics, constitution, lolo my problem is what is there for the youths? Amuñu hope. They need hope. They need to see something. They need to hear something. They need to believe in that tomorrow will be better than today. So man, I am just a patriot. I'm just a youth. You understand? Because of okay, we want to get Gambia. Well, before anything, I've created something that maybe I've employed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people who can work. You understand? So they na tami si sen biro bu yagu de ngende wax na ño xamne ñu nekk ci diaspora bi ñun luñ mëna def moy ñu ñew yalla dimbal ñu because of nowhere is easy right now fu nekk dafa tar fu nekk ni because of COVID-19 bi ni before COVID-19 bi sax ñun world bi dafa commencé sen economic things dafa power bi dafa commencé decline just before COVID-19 so li daf ci gëna daf ko gëna garawal ñun that only thing we can do is have our little money, come back to Gambia, create something, maybe employ 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5, because of low def. But the government is there. It's their responsibility. You hold the Kavi. Hold lan muna def nga xamne taxawalu bi dafa bari muy ci side góor yi muy ci side jigéen yi te Gambia dafa am loo xam ne dafa nekk priority agriculture priority la health system bi priority la education system bi priority la ba pare technology and infrastructure tamit without that dëkk bi du muna dem. So these are the things you have, man. It is my concern, honestly. It's my concern for the Gambia because I'm a Gambian. Neko nasi ghetto bi so I was a DJ. Dugo na fu neka gena na fu bari hangare def na lu bare bare. So I talk with people and I know exactly their state of mind. So for me, what is there for the youth? Man, that is my problem. Generation B. Because of if we don't take care of them, honestly speaking, it will be worse.
Yeah, I think Mary being a presidential aspiring presidential candidate will be able to give us a plan.
Her plans about that.
Yeah, Mr. Njaga, I will go a little bit on our plan for economic growth. And under our plan for economic growth, we are pulling out, we have policy, which is providing policy certainty and direction for growth and jobs by passing a job act. When you pass a job act for job in every home and you eradicate employment corruption, you ensuring labor unions are protecting the interests of the workers. So we have a lot of plans that we are going to do so that the youth can see themselves in place, creating new plans to realize economic justice for all the Gambia with respect to economic justice for all, expanding access and improving higher education and training. When we talk about improving higher education and training, I will go through my manifesto here. It's a thick page. I have 53 pages, but we break it down to 10. Because apparently my learned friends came and said, Madam, you cannot provide a 53-page manifesto. You have to break it down to 10 pages so that people can read it.
Then we need long time.
Exactly. But what the reason why it came to 53, because I was so passionate in writing, I took a whole year to write this. because I touched on every sector. Right now, as I speak to you, when you go to the university, people, even when kids go to the university level, when they finish university, there's no jobs. We in the Gambia, we in my plan are going to create what we talk about is called concept of voluntary national service. Experience before you get a job. If you go to the university, there's so many graduates, there's no job placement, there's no experience. Some of them might graduate and might not even are not fit to be in the workplace. Skill set, training centers, skill set training centers. So let me just read here an experience here, because like I said, it's big. When we talk about voluntary service, we talk about experience is one of the key requirements that many young Gambians lack when entering the workplace. There are simply not enough internship or voluntary programs available to all young secondary school graduates who will not go on to tertiary education to work with work experience, which they can in turn use to enter the labor force. We believe that the state can play an important role in providing these young Gambians with work experience, whilst also providing with an opportunity to serve in our country. This opportunity will come in the form of a voluntary national civil service year. This will be offered in every high school graduate who does not qualify for tertiary education. The opportunity to provide a service in the country or his or her community will be in return for a stipend and valuable work experience. There will be in an area of public sector where there is a clearly defined need, such as the police force, education, and healthcare. If possible, the program would provide a springboard for further opportunities in the beneficiaries' chosen sector. You see, when our youth are finished with school or primary school, we have a problem right now. Even when they finish grade 9, they cannot go any further. One, because maybe the parents didn't pay the school fees, so the boy is left languished in the street, cannot go to school, cannot do anything. That's number one problem that we have right now in the Gambia, because mënuñoo fay seen examination paper wala ñu def exam ba pare mënuñ leen a jox seen certificate bi because failing. So the boys are in the street, being languished. Next thing, there's no platform for them. You them back way. Ñu am tamit nga dem be high school, nga def sa exam. The same problem happens because fail or put that paper, you don't get that paper, and of course you cannot get a job. All that will be eradicated, because I think as a government, we need to take certain responsibilities, because if we have certain good education and platforms in place, then we will not have a problem of people going all the way to the high school level, grade 12, and then not being able to pay their school fee, especially if you make school fees, if you make school education lower, like primary school to high school, when the education is free and they have to pay only for their exams, then you give opportunity, one, to all Gambians to be educated. In university, we can have government subsidiaries, subsidized, how do you call it, education, where parents, su fekkee ne sa yaay moom kenn rek ay liggéey, papa bi liggéeyut, we look at, they will have a program where we look at the income, then government will subsidize. Then you look at whether two families that are not working, how to help that family, that child can be educated. Gambia has to be educated again. Then all this back way and all this hustle that is happening going out will not happen, because then now you have opportunities. Now, when you finish all this schooling and you are waiting for a job, how many jobs are there right now in the Gambia? Really? We, the private sector, we can only employ so much, like you said, 2 or 3. Mënuñoo employ a lot. But if we have people going to these, how do you call it, these programs where they can have experience for 1 year, 2 years, then come in, at least mën nañoo dem sax nekk dimbale sax, when they go and they do this job experience, mën nañ ko like, so ñu toog fa ñu continue ñu liggéey foofu. They can be employed by these institutions or these people. So we have a lot of plans for the youth. We have a lot of youth that cannot go back to school. A lot of youth cannot go back to school. We're gonna have a going back to school drive. Everybody have to go back to school to get educated. If you cannot go back to school and you're a businessman, we will have programs where you will be part of that program, because even as a businessman, we need to make sure that you can do a proper business to make money, and we will help our youth to get that. This is all about creating platforms, creating skills centers. We don't have skill centers anymore. In high school, I remember back in the day in St. Joseph's or in St. Augustine's, they had carpentry, they had, how do you call it, metalworks. You know, they have all of that in the schools already. In my school, we have cookery, we have sewing classes, we have this skill set integrated in our curriculum. So by the time you finish school, bu fekkee ne yow mënuloo dem nga toog si office, mun nga am métier. A lot of my friends, some of them are big designers, some of them are big carpenters, some of them are big engineers. It stemmed from this being inside the high school, is part of the program. Then we will not have what we have today, like what the young man is saying now. So these are all ways of creating, because if you don't have an educated, like I said before, so educated, member of in the nyata companies, munga in the 100 companies to the Gambia. Why? So you end up even companies you stolen in there, will do only the bargaining work of that company. Why? And then you take educated foreigners to work in the job sector. No, we educate our place. He said ICT. I feel ICT, internet technology should be introduced even in the primary school level, because that is the world we live in today. So halal judo tay nga tiye sa telephone within 3 months or 2 days sa telephone daf ko de buga nang 6 months muy buga nangu sa telephone bani ya so toy telephone mu sani ko already is showing you that men, their brain is already picking on that. They're intelligent enough to even crack open your phone. Meanwhile, you're someone who open support. So why are we restricting those children? We go to early child learning, ECD, early child development. Let children go back to school early. We used to have preschools. Preschool, then you have the primary one. Now kids don't go to school till they are 5, 10 years old. For what? When they can go to school at 1 year, 2 year old, because we are developing their brain.
Okay. Right. I have here just something to say. Okay, Ngerr, come.
I want to answer Njaga's questions about the youth. Njaga content na trop si wa
I'm done yet.
Njaga so baye hel Gambia bu coalition bi ñëwé bu government bi ñëwé luñ dé wa youth. Why Njaga, I wish you are in Gambia here. Yaa ngi dox street yaa ngi seetaan youth si min bi dëkk fi sympathie da nga yërëm 5 months lu ma dee wax Gambia buñ am buñ ko amaat parce que government bi nekkuñ di xelaat xale yi amul benn plan for the youth. They don't have any plan for the youth. Lii mooy suñ problème bi Gambia fi. Exactly. Yaa ngi am protection all the way from Europe, always youth, so yaa ngi ñëw. All these days, police are having task force, ñu ñoo arrest youth, rek lañ nekk di arrest. Quarter mile 2 is full of youth. So let's ask this government. They don't have plan for youth. And then this is why Alliance for Social Democrats has come up with this idea. We have so many plans for youth. And then we have seen Mary with good ideas and we have good ambitions for youth. That's why we are behind her, bagging her up, stand, and then come 2021, 4th of December, when it's announced, and see what is going to happen in Gambia.
When you talk about youth involvement, Mr. Njaga, just to buttress, man suma waxe ne dama bëgg youth si exco gergele ñuy tàccu man ñi ma wóor yëpp ndaw lañ xam nga ki fi waroon a ñëw sax the secretary general of the movement is a young lady. She's 24 years old. The communications manager, she's also young. She's 30 years old. So I'm surrounded by youths. The reason why I do that, when you want to work with the youths, you don't work with them from a distance. You don't say you have a youth movement and then the youth movement, the leader of the youth movement is almost 50 years old. You don't do that. When you want to work with the youth, especially if you're a youth, you bring them together. Let them be part of that decision making. Let them be part of what makes the government, because they have a voice. They can give their input. When I was writing this manifesto, I didn't write it alone. It took me over a year to write it, but I brought some youths in, youths that are not educated. They came in, they sat down, they looked at it, they talked, they said what they want in there. We put it in there, we refine it. We had nurses, we had, all kinds of young people from different sectors. The university, look at the university right now. People, you go to the university, you're educated, your parents pay all that money, you come out, you don't have a job, you get frustrated. You go out there, you're hanging with your friends, there's no recreational center in the prisons. amuñ dara si prison bi amuñ sax book pour nga read. You know, there's no recreational center, there's no rehab center. The rehab center is tanka. They put you rehab, the same rehab, mentally they're not able. So what happens then? You understand? You do la prison, they don't separate you. You are just a criminal, just like everybody, but there's nothing to help you to come back to the populace. Amu dara lo xamne mun nañ la dimbale fofu pour so gene nga muna nek a better person, muna living. There's no system in place there. Fofu dafa wara am ñoo xamne at least ñu mëna janga. You can still be in jail but nga janga so gisé nga ñuy la tej dafa am lu bon lu nga def o dafa am lo bu def wa at least bo démé nga am opportunity bo génaté ci society bi nga mëna hejaat ci society bi. We don't have that.
The problem is the problem about Gambia. We have to stop feeling sorry for the youths or seeing them as a threat and see them as a luxury. Limo problem Gambia. We have to see youths as luxury. You understand? Because of like the Kobogis mu developer, you see them developer.
Wow.
Exactly. But secondly, okay, fine. After education session, that way it's a very good project.
Why mota manela dañ wara involve youth si luñ munti def as a politician da nga wara involve involve youth si waxuma involve youth si pour ñu ek wa ek len si gele bi ngeen sol t-shirt si ngeen tatu that's not the involvement I'm talking about. When I talk about involving the youth, it's involving them even in decision making. Lila lendewa man len my office will have 50% young people. 50% young people will be in my office and 50% will be women. So when we talk about young people, the Gambia has to be young again because now we they're aggressive. We only have 2 terms. Speed and we'll fix the country. They're hungry. They're hungry for change. They're hungry for things to happen. So they will work.
Yeah.
But if they're not given the opportunity and they give you, and then they put them all under one sector, under the Ministry of Youth. And then the football right now is the only program that is there for the youth of the Gambia. Only football. Office is useless. So 24/7 I am with them.
Yeah, because of yen politicians yena nek ci ben manam umbrella ñu wara jaay ñu jënd ko ñu war leena voter te li ngeen ñu wara jaay waaw li ngeen ñu wara jaay dafa wara nek lo xamne da fay jar njëg yaa ma understand ñun tay ñun yusi man tay suma xolé dafa am ben Gambia moy ne we are not taking care of that much of politics, you understand. It's a very dangerous situation because of ñun dañoo am right to know exactly what is going on in and out of the government and the country. Dañoo wara xam suñu xaalis bi fu mo joggé fan la mo joggé xaalis suñu fan lañ ko
and accountability
pay tax yaa nga accountability ak yoy non administration. So okay ñun fine loolu yëpp after waaye li problème bi mooy ñun yéen comme yow fu mu nekk ne yow li nga wax ni yëpp ba pare dafa am loo xam ne tam bëggoon naa ko dégg mooy waaye dama wax ñoo xam ne tey ñu ngi between 25 years and 40 years ñoo xam ne jànguñu te amuñu métier dafa ñoom ñoo gën a nekk in an urgent situation because of education system you are there to build them yaa ngi understand stages la waaye ñoo xam ne right la boo xam ne dafa bari man as I said I'm a Gambian man diggante Fajara Kololi ak Kotu ak Senegambia la yoro be Bruce bi I know exactly what's going on. So the problem is ñooñu that those people are the problem because of ñoom ñoo gën a lose hope right now ci àdduna bi ñoom ñoo nekk di naan sangara ñoom ñoo nekk di gangs ñoom ñoo nekk di fanaan ci mbedd bi ci club bi because of right now kër boo duga wala néeg boo duga ay foo nit ñoo fa nekk di fanaan ci bokk benn néeg boo xam ne benn nit wala ñaar ñoo fa war a dëkka so loolu noonu tey ñoo xam ne tey ñoo xam ne amuñu fu ñu dëkka benn amuñu métier jànguñu amuñu lu ñoo liggéey amul lu ñoo def lu dul raba ak jaaytaay yaa nga understand ñooñu ñooy suma problème ñoo xam ne tey am nañ tuuti education wala they have hope in the future ñooñu pour defar leen da nga leen di teg in the right path waaye ñi moom they are out of the way naka nga leen lu mën a bring back ci way so man benn idea moo tax ma ne la always benn idea
njaga moo tax ma ne la da nga create man duma politician bu nga xamne man I'm not even I don't even time my because man léegi laa go si politics waaye man ku sell suma track record man bi ma ñëwee ba tey man dama dee create platform man lamba sax tiga naa ko because ñi nga wax noonu am na ñoo xam ne ñoom bi ñoo dem school yàgg na wala musu ñoo dem school wala dem nañ Arabic school and they have zero platform for lamba te lamba ma daan tiga dama ko yaatal dama ko def grand bapat bu ko defee fii ba koy na nit ñi ñëw ñu bokk si lamb boobu lu tax ma create platform boobu so that to give opportunity to all because du ñëpp a mun a talk office you understand waaye soo create certain platforms and programs nga involve everybody not about programs which is this UN program nga xam ne gars yi sax duñ mun a read naka la tuddaati they cannot even read the signboard you know of that I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about programs that affects them programs that work for them because ku nekk loo toog ba 35 40 am na ba tey boo amee opportunity am na ba tey loo mun a def ndax du because su fekkee ne yow da nga discourage ngay tuktaay dafa am lu tax because there's no platform for you there are no programs for you you're not involved so we need to look into la bi ma defal suma manifesto bi ñii ñëpp laa toogal ma waxtaan ak ñoom toog naa ak ñoo xam ne sax fu mu nekk ni they were footballers léegi coach lañ waaye coach yoo xam ne they're not even getting paid you understand they're just voluntarily.
Can I ask you a question? Yow lan mooy sa economic model?
Well, it's big unless my money is you want me to show you the whole
not in details but just madam dang ko base ci importation exportation agriculture.
Let me just give you a few. I want you to listen. Our economic policy for growth and jobs and change is now providing policy uncertainty and direction for growth and jobs by passing a job act for jobs in every home, eradicating employment corruption, ensuring that labor unions protect the interests of workers, not their own elites. Bankruptcy, respecting public finance, institutional independence, and fiscal risk, creating a new plan to realize economic justice for all the Gambians with respect to economic justice for all in respect of land reforms, justice, growth, expanding access and improving higher education and training, unleashing small businesses. We're unleashing small businesses, enabling city-led growth, stimulating trade and investment promotion, making industries and manufacturing work again, transport, getting Gambia to move again, and unlocking agriculture, improving access and innovation in ICT, cleaning house. When we say we are cleaning house, unbundling SOE, state-owned enterprise, monopolies for growth, energy powering the Gambia's economic growth. So these are just a few to name the list of what we are working on or what we want to work on. When once you see this is why inspirational because it's on paper.
It's
I have here just a small question. I mean, thank you very much, Marie, for your manifest on you really have good plans if everything is going to be like that. Oh, everybody from the opposition is also having a better plan also like you. But our question is always, people used to ask themselves, how are you, for example, going to finance that? Do you have any idea whether we are going to borrow more money where we are full of debt now? We cannot pay. We are in billions. If Gambians don't know.
Well, right now I
it's
think
just
Gambia
to save
is so,
the situation, what we can save. So what I just wanted to say, many people used to ask, for example, who is coming is going to use our resources because we are not poor, as people say, but we don't just know how to use our resources. And we don't know how to make money out of it. We leave people come and take it and fill their pockets and go away. And Gambians don't even have fish to eat because they're doing bad business. So I think to take more debts is not good. How are you going to finance your plan? Just to tell the Gambians.
Well,
because
you know, like I said, you are going into my manifesto, but it's fine. You know, in the Gambia, we have, like the young man just said, which I said when I went to the provinces, which is unleashing. I said to unlock agriculture. Agriculture is one of our main sources of income for the Gambia. And when we talk about Gambia does not have money, I mean, and we are borrowing, we cannot have gone from taking having almost 200 million debt forgiven by foreign bodies and making the same debt again over and over again. We need to find ways where we can make money from within. Our agriculture alone can make money for us, and it's called supply and demand. And also to be able to have, for example, agriculture working all year round. We cannot have agriculture only in the rainy season. We have sweet water. When you dig few meters deep, you have water. We can build troughs. We can have storage facilities. We don't have storage facilities in the provinces, so that they can store when they do their farming, they can store and they can supply all year round. You understand? This COVID taught us a big lesson, because if we have internally, if we were using our resources like our agriculture, if we were using it, we were well off. We didn't need to export. We didn't need to bring anything from outside. And you see all the supermarkets were empty. But if we were doing all this before, then our supermarkets will not be empty. We'll still be eating. We'll still be growing. Money will circulate. People can buy and sell. And that's how you revive your economy. So, like I said, I don't know what I'm going to meet in office, but whatever we have here on economy, on how we want to fix our economy without borrowing is on here, is on paper. And maybe sooner or later we'll have it up on our website so everybody can see it, because it's a long read. But we have a lot of things that we want to do. We have, for example, the Chinese are here with our fish. What are they doing? How much are they getting the fish for? We're talking about our zirconia. They're digging zirconia, raw materials. You saw Ghana refusing their raw materials to go out anymore, because the problem is if Africa starts industrializing, the West is gone. But these are the things that we have to look into. What are our resources? Our sea, what are they doing with our fish? How much are they selling our fish? And what fish are they catching? I tell people, just 2 days ago, Mr. Sisaho was there, and I said to them, I remember when we used to catch 6-foot barracuda. I used to go fishing to Boy number 3. You catch 6-foot barracuda. I used to go fishing. Now you don't see those 6-foot barracudas anymore. You see only baby barracudas, which are supposed to go back into the sea. You understand? So all these things, how much are we selling them for? Then we have zirconia. Yeah. They're digging zirconia. People don't know what the zircons are. What Chinese need the zircon for, Google it. You'll see what they need it for. It's money right there. These are our resources. These are money for Gambia. So we need to look at what happens. And also other issues we have is our own, how do you call it? Independent bank, independent state bank, like the commercial bank. So we have a lot of issues. Like I said, it's difficult for me to sit here and say it random on a little show here. But everything is here. And when we sit down, the day we're going to read out our manifesto, we will see what we have on economic growth and how to boost our economy. We have natural resources. The world is changing now. Medicinal agriculture is in all over the world. It's a multi-million-dollar industry, and Gambia will tap onto it because Gambia has soil and everything. Yeah. We need to start being part of that world to export. All these things create jobs.
Yeah, I think Alice, Alice and Jaga, you guys have really pounded on this, and Mr. Ciesay, and of course Marie, just because we're coming to the ending of this, we didn't think that this program would take this long, but it's good stuff. You put out a lot of good stuff. I think Njaga was just passionate about the youth, which area we didn't actually discuss prior. So it's very important that we politicians look at a very feasible plan, not like just talk, because politicians are fond of talking. When they ask Barrow, what did you say? He said, when you are looking for office, you can say anything, but that doesn't mean when you get there. Yes, when you get there, it's different. So we're not looking for that kind of politicians in this coming election.
No.
Gambian people are looking for, people with people with history, track record,
ambition,
and then and then also they can do. That's very important. If you have been doing before, if you get there, most likely you will do. If you cannot do, if you don't have a mindset of creativity, of creating, economic, things prior to your former work, there's a likelihood that you will not. And then also it comes to integrity. If you are, not you don't have integrity in your prior life, you don't have credit. You are into crooked stuff, and then doing things. The Gambian people need to get everything out there. I spoke one time, and I think I wrote on Facebook, we should have a credibility test for presidency, not only educational test. People need to be tested on their past. Like Alas, I can sit here and say Alas has the integrity of being a president because he has been transparent. His life hasn't had any fraud or any kind of lifestyle that will make him become an embezzler. Because when you go to this office, you have all these people like Econ coming to you and telling you that I'm going to electrify your home. What do you think he's going to do? Do you think he doesn't have a stake in that? Maybe he's looking to have a contract. So Barrow's government currently is actually has played this in a very, very fantastical way, I can say. In most of their business dealings, and we have seen the amount of corruptions that we have never seen it even in Jammeh's era, from different folks, not only one folk. Because with Jammeh time, you can see it's only perhaps Jammeh. He would do it, but other people he would not allow. But with I always see with Barrow's time, it's a combination of Jawara and Jammeh. Jawara would not do it, but his associate would do it. With Barrow, we have both doing. So this kind of test we have failed when we are voting in 2016 because we want Jammeh out, so our eyes were closed. But we need to really, really assess people, their past, their associates, what are the kind of lifestyle they, because when you go, you have access to all these opportunities that you are the number one person. You can say this and this will happen. So if that person don't have the integrity, don't have the transparency, they don't have the the honesty in them, it's gonna destroy the people. It's gonna destroy. So I always say this, definitely Gambian people, we need to change within ourselves. We Gambians need to change if we want to really beat corruption and all these things. But we need a leader who would say, you know what, nobody will corrupt me. If you want, I don't care if I win next election, but this is it. If people come, we ourselves come to you. We come to you, hey, pull you on the side. Money, look at this. We can get this, we can get. I would say no. It comes to a time we need a leader who would say, you know what, I don't care if I win next time or not, but I will do the right thing. I don't care if my associate bellies are full. I'm not gonna let them do it if they support me or not. I don't care if if my relatives would hate me or they won't like me. I will not be involved in the politics. This kind of leader hasn't been born yet. If he's been born, we haven't seen it in the arena yet. In order for Gambian to get to another level, we need this kind of leader to step in the arena. If it's in the arena, at least we don't know yet. It might be there, it might be you, but that needs to be proven.
Well, Mr. Sawaneh, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I know that I have, since I stood up for this running for this election, for this candidacy, which, as I told you, man dugaluma suma bopa youth sima don japale te ñi nga xamne ñom a gis yeneen political parties ñom ñoo ñew ñu wax ma taxaw len man buguma yefi politique because dimbale na politicians yu bari, and what is on paper and what they're doing is two different things. Man len so man buguma ñu ne ma dédé fokk ñu taxawal la because dañ doon xaar sa ñu dem congress ñu votal la. So these are the youths that put me today where I am on this platform today. And I thank God, the reason why I can stand today and I can stand as Marisol is because I think I have left a good name in the Gambia prior to leaving the Gambia. I've gone to school here, Ken Musuma Hamal Darabi Madem School, Majoge School, I'm going Ligay Fee. I worked in the Gambia and I had worked with people in high places and many people, of course, in high society in the Gambia. So I think because of that name and that Limafi Bai, that is one of the reasons I came back to the Gambia, and I've been fighting since I came. 2013 is the time that I really came finally to the Gambia, and I've been in every office. I am probably one of those lucky Gambians that don't need an appointment to see somebody in the office. I have done a lot for the Gambia. The 3 years, 5 years Jotna peace deal, I was the one that brokered that deal. I was the one that made sure that the government sat with them. I don't announce these things that I do because I do it for country. I don't do it to get accolades or something, but when Gambia was at a point when everybody was scared whether Gambia is going to burn, it was my little self that made sure I talked to the 3 years, I talked to the 5 years, they came to my office, I put them down, I talked to them, I understand them, I created a conference, I paid for the conference, nobody sponsored me, invited the whole Gambia, nobody came, me and some youths that came and they listened to the guys. And that is how they had a first peaceful protest when they went to, I think because we sat with the government and it was not easy. It was not easy, me sitting with all government officials and trying to tell them, these guys will go out and they'll go out peaceful. That's what I do for my country. And it's not something I need to stand and brag about all the time. It's not everything we do, we brag about. But my track record is there. My Facebook pages are there. The dates are there when we did this. Wrestling matches I did, the programs I do in the Gambia are here. Ministers that were there in the regime, ministers that are there now will tell you how many times I knock on their doors, how many times I go into their office to the point that you need to get America every time they are yes, because I'm passionate about what I do. I feel the future of Africa is in the hands of the youth. And this is one of the reasons I have a lot of young people around me. I'm not a talker. I'm not good in this, what we are doing here talking, but I believe in doing. I believe in showing what I can do. And I think it's high time, like I said, for me, I said it here before, Mr. Sawaneh, maybe you didn't get me. I said, for me, it's not about winning, regardless of either way it goes, whether I win or not, for me, it's a winning. Because as a woman alone, standing all the way to the presidency, that alone is winning for me, because I'm setting a trend for young girls to have faith in themselves and to have that, I'm fit to know that they can do it. They can be just like me. That's number one. So that's winning for me as a woman standing and taking all the heat that I've been taking since I stood up. That's number one. Number two, it's not about going to the State House. It's about what I can do for country and for my children, not my personal children, but my children, because the reason why I cannot go to the US today is because when I'm going, anti-Mari Kanganyo, anti-Mari Buldem, anti-Mari Lee, or anti-Mari, so this, it breaks my heart. Even when I go to the US, after 1 week, I feel like coming back to the Gambia. So it's a passion for me. So it's not about going to the State House. We all know, if you follow me and you ask people, I've lived a very, very good and satisfying life. This is for country. So it's not about winning. Winning is how you look at and how you define winning. I already won by standing as a woman and representing women.
Okay. Let's wrap it up. Okay, you can
just one last thing. It's for Marisol and Sisaho Fati, and I'm going to say it in Wolof because of people are listening to us. Yeah. Because of not everybody. Yeah. For my last words. Okay, man, we go understand more. Marisol, you only know ni yeb ci yursi ci xalé tay. Yow lan nga wara mëna ya because of ñun dañoo am mentality problem bi moy dañoo am problème yi gom politicians yi pare dañoo am problème gom suñu institutions yi so yow ban plan ak ban programme nga nekk di def nga xam ne da nga mëna jege nit ñi because of ñun ba pare problème bi moy dafa naka nga mëna def da nga xam ne to what they need in a leader, the personality they need in the leader. Comme ça, nous avons dit Momodou Sawaneh because of ñun dañoo wara start ñuy select suñu leaders ci kaw ne do wax ju bari wala du mëna am xaalis. No, there are certain things that we need in a leader. There are certain things that we need in a leader who should lead our country. So yéen naka ngeen di def nga xam ne di ngeen mëna sensitiser youth si ba ngeen xam ne lépp loo xam ne tey nit nañ ko seen leader ñu jëm koo xam ba pare am ID card am voters card ba pare naka ngeen di because of ñu amul lool noonu dafa bari ba pare nit youth si aware bu dafa bari so ban programme ngeen teg boo xam ne di nga leen because dafa am yenn place yoo xam ne foog pour nga daje yenn routes yoo xam ne aware you have to find them in certain places. Are you going to those kind of places yoo xam ne di nga leen mën a sensitize to bring them back to real patriots? So
waaw njaga sa question boobu important na trop dëgg la lu nga wax noonu ñun soo bàyyee xel xëj na yow you are not aware of it waaye ñun commencé na ñoo jéena si youth si leen sensitize ñu ngi waxtaan ak ñoom suñu aims and ambition especially about the Alliance for Social Democrat ñu ngi def loolu ñu ngi am plans yoo xam ne ñu ngi jéena ñu nekkuñ ne si office bi rek lañ dee toog di wax youth si di leen wax ñoom ñu ngi jéena si ground bi toog ak ñoom waxtaan leen wax leen suñu aims and ambition because soo bàyyee xel man tey si biir dëkk bi laa nekk maa ngi àndaa youth si maa ngi toog ak ñoom di naan ataaya ak ñoom di gis si condition buñ dëkka su ma gisee police van bi romba ep youth si eb leen si gannaaw dama dee yëngal suma boppa bi ma xelaat nguur gi lan la waxoon 2016 ñu ñoo fi taka I was an ex-soldier in this country I served for this country for 12 good years so toog naa fi gis naa tey luy xew fi su ma toogee ñu ne ñu ngi deport si over 30 people ñu cancel ko te yooyu yëpp lan lañ alal lañ they are youth very important in the society so yow yaa ngi toog state house foofu noonu yow loo dee wax a politicians yi ñun lu ma waxoon si campagne bi ak lu nga def is totally different why you are not thinking of the youth sitting down in the street yow lan nga am pour ñoom yow am loo dara pour ñoom yow ñu ngi tey dañ am something for the youth ñu ngi jëla ñu ngi am a calendar boo xam ne ñu ngi commencé yow jéena si from on the 9th ba after weeri koor di leen dimbale di waxtaan ak youth si di wax lu ñu war a def we have so many things for them suñ ñëwee power lu ñu leen war a defal we have it boo tax ñu ngi bëgg a jéem ak ñoom seet bi ñoo def ñu sensitize waxtaan si groupe bu ñu dem ñu toog a ñëw waxtaan la ñu déglu ñu loolu lañ nekk tooguñ si office rek
waaye ma wax tamit nega man dama gërëm yàlla torop because xam nga am na lu ma musoon a wax ministre of youth am na lu ma ko musoon a wax te wax naa ko sax soo seetaanee si suma website marisol.com di nga gis benn vidéo bu ma wax in Ethiopia ma ne leen politicians yi wala soo bëggee taxaw président danga taxaw nga naan youth waaye boo paree doo defal you don't have anything to cater for the youth waaye man am na yenn youth si doon def benn event in Dipakunda and I went there two si suba maa suma doom di dem I think if you go to my TikTok you'll see that was in Dipakunda ma dem ma toog a ñoom ñu toog ci suuf ma waxtaan a ñoom I do bëri yow xam nga lamba ñi dee dugga si lamba dee rough ñi dee not coming from Fajara like you said Fajara and Pipeline man I grew up around this area in Banjul these are coming from the dense areas of the combos the dense areas of our country you understand these are rough these are the people I sit with these are the youths I sit with and chat with them xam nga waxtaan a ñoom xam si lan lañ dëkka laaj leen lu tax demu leen back way lu tax yéen ngeen toog lu tax ñeneen ñi dem and everybody give me their so we go into we go into Igbo town into Talinding youths know me there youths in Serekunda know me there this is one of the reasons I tell people I don't have time for wigs on all this I want to put on my cap my gym shoes and my trainers because of the places that I go because I sit with these people and I talk to them because I see them as my children. I chat with them, put my money and understand. Going to these places. Trust me, we are doing that and we have a lot of youths around us that are doing that too. Ñun man ñi ma wër yëpp youth lañ ay ndaw lañ ay boys lañ yoo xam ne they go into the places boo xam ne most politicians dañ ko they avoid these places but I go there as a woman waaye du ma fa dem foofu ak grand buba ak kaalawu ak xaftaan and all that I go with my ñu mun a waxtaan man pour ñu ñeme ma.
You have to get the same favor.
Yeah. So finally, I'm glad that you mentioned this part, and then please don't take it personal. What I'm about to say, Marie. Our people are used to, and then I'm glad you said this because it's in line with that in Grambuba, and then having the right head tie, and then those Muslim robes and so forth. Everybody, you have to be in kaftan. If you see all our head of state, even if they're used to wearing jeans, but once they started getting close to that seat, there's this personality that they start, wearing, and the next thing you see, So what is I'm not saying that in you, which probably you have a there's a different representation. And what do you think is this? Is it a plus for you? The way you are, your dress code and the way you apply here, or are you thinking of adopting that kind of life as you gradually move towards that presidency?
Mr. Sawaneh, I'm so glad, when I came to the Gambia, and this is the way I came to the Gambia, I went to the provinces, and in the provinces, they accepted me the way I am, even with my bald head. They love the way I am, they accept me the way I am. So I already have that secured prior to being in politics. That's why I said my political journey is the youth that put me in there. But I've been in the province where it is, in the province, it's difficult for anybody to accept you like this. You understand? But I am thankful that I went and I integrated in society, and they love me just the way I am. Even when I come and I'm mataka musor wala Auntie Marie but I feel I know it's good to be versatile. It's because we have to attract everybody. This is me. I cannot change who I am. It's not about my hair. It's not about, it's about what I can do, what out of my mouth, what I can do for country and what I represent. That is what is important. In Gambia right now, we are following a trend. If I start wearing gram buba and a kala, I'm fake. Do I have to wear that just to be accepted? That is not the look of Gambians anymore. What is the look of Gambia right here is sitting here with some, locks, and it looks nice, but that doesn't mean he's a, I can look at him and say, Aki Rastala. Even if he's a Rasta man doesn't mean even Rasta. Rasta is a culture. You understand? So we cannot judge people by looks anymore. I think Gambia is beyond that now. Yeah. Understand? Because fakeness, we are all going on the wrong direction. Because kuneka lifin rek nga do di sol xaftaan yu rëy yi ni sol di sol lifin di kilifa ya te fekk yow li nga oote si yow nekku si yow. Jigéen ñu bari si provinces bi ma demee si provinces bi leena lañ ma laaj ñu ne ma Auntie Marie, mbaa yow doo kaalawo yooyu because ña fi nekkoon kaalawu day gisuñ bi ñu defal ma ne leen man mus ngeen maa xam kaalawu nii laa mel. Although I have changed I'm now a Muslim, but I asked my husband one thing. I said, I'm not your traditional or so, but allow me to be who I am, because it's all about what is here. It's all about my belief, my heart, how my connection to the Almighty. That is what is important. It's not about my hair or my makeup or whatever. This is me. And we need to start embracing this in our country, because we are not just one type of people. We are coming from different backgrounds. You bare yen ngi Europe tay. Bi ngeen demee Europe, yéen a ngi am ay jabar, yéen a ngi am ay doom. They're mixed. You want them to come back home to Gambia. So they come to Gambia. You cannot say, oh, because he doesn't look Gambian, he cannot run for office, or because, that's not correct. Everywhere I go, I have a code. Of course, province, I cannot dress a certain way. I wear something very long. I mataka suma musor makuberu madem wahanyom. Sumademe place unyan. Every place everywhere you go have a place for it. If I go to the boys in the hood, I dress like I go to the boys in the hood. I put on my jeans, or I put on my gym shoes and my jogging, and I put on my cap. If I travel internationally for the Gambia, it's the same thing. You understand? If I'm going to Saudi Arabia, obviously I will not go like this to Saudi Arabia. They might not allow me in, but I can cover up and go in. You understand? So every place have its dress code, the way you want to represent you, but you don't do that on gasol kala 24/7. The yaram you are holier than thou, and when you're not, because we have seen what has happened in our country as people that we thought they were holy.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So that been I think you answered that. Somebody said the higher office requires goes with some kind of a dress code.
Wahal Modou Sarne, man Carol and Posta la joge. Wow. Man number 2 Makati Square la judo. Na dem mu Google fan la na dem mu set fan la number 2 Makati Square nekk. Bu dee dress code rek foog naa ne suma maam yi dañ ko instill si man ba pare.
I mean, I think
all right, so we can wrap it up. Definitely. I think if anybody has anything final words to say, Marie, you have given it all. I mean, this is such a great interaction that perhaps I'm not saying you have ever had, but this is perhaps close to the ones that almost touch all the areas. And then when Njaha come in with the youth area, which was something very, very big, and Alas come in with, diaspora area. And of course, Sisaho is in the defense trying to fortify your candidacy. Is all great,
Yes.
and the alliance of democracy. This is a wonderful social democracy. This is a wonderful thing for Gambia. And then we'll share this video, and a lot of people will see it, and of course they will kind of understand your candidacy. And then you've been the first woman, the second woman to run for office, beside Aissatou Touré, would also carry some weight. And then all these barriers that you are breaking, like the misconception of dress code and all that, I think all these are good to open other doors, for other people, young women coming to the field, so that they nothing should stop anyone. I always believe in the content of a person, not what is outside of that person.
Oh, the cover.
Yeah. So the content and the heart is more important. So if anybody has anything final, we can disclose it. We've been over 2 hours. So I thank you all. This is
thank you very much, Maria, and Mr. Fatih Jaga also for using your time. At the end, it's all about the Gambia we're talking about. It's not for let nobody take it personally and so. And then for Maria, it was a great chance for you to talk to the Gambians. That's why we said such questions. It was a nice debate, and nobody should take that to heart. The people can decide, and when they need to know more, they can contact you directly, I think, and you can give them more information. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, Mr. Njaga, like I said, I deal with a lot of young people, and this is what young people. I said to the young people, when you go to any political party, whether it's mine or anybody else, don't just follow the person based on Kida Farafet wala Kida Fali. You send office, read us and manifesto. I have my manifesto always on screen. I said I put it on there. If they cannot understand it, we break it down to them.
Ñun Gambia right now amuñu time yi dress code. Ñun suñ problème mooy project. Ñun Gambia dañoo nekk in a sinking boat la koy mëna waxé. So we need projects that can lift us up. You see problem in because of we are losing lots of things and everything is going backward and forward. Non la nekati demé. World bi mu ngay demé backward and forward. Why you always dal ñing dal jëloguñ ben step dal bo xamné dal it is promising. So you politicians yeen suñu yaakar.
Let us hope for the best.
Wow, mota mané you today ñew suma office. Mota you today ñew suma office. Dama len dey encourage pour mané len suñu bokkat ci dara. Nañ bokk ci lo xamné xam nañ lan la. Man, I give them all to read what I have, what I put it all there for them to read. I tell them to ask me questions. I tell them to challenge me with questions. Li tax may dey def lolu because nit ki soy bokk ci dara da nga wara xam lu tax nga bokk ci lan nga duga. Ona sanga do duga rek te xamulo lan mo fa nekka. So I encourage them to always challenge me because I love the challenge. Man, I'm not intimidated by questions or anything. What we have here today, I love it because it makes me better. The questions you throw at me.
But you have here what
you definitely challenge today.
Definitely challenging because of ñun dafa jot the politicians di wax ak ñun.
Exactly.
Dafa jot tamé ñun tamé ñu feel because of ñun ñoo mom dëkk bi yeen momu len ko. Ñun ñoo mom dëkk.
I know.
Very true.
He said what I told the young people the other day.
Gambia politicians need to understand that you people are just servants because you are there. We give ñun dañoo yaakaar ne okay comme tey ma jël liggéey suma xaalis ba mu ma doon wóolu benn ma samba ne ko am téel ma suma xaalis bi. Yang ma understand after suma ñëwee di ko laaj mu naan ma fii la xari jaar fele la xari jaar always problem. I was talking with a white guy who is a dentist mu ne ma Africa bu ñu amoon tuuti fulla ak fayda jël seen resources yi téel ko seen boppa ñu ne EU ak America ak China soxla wuñ leen fii rek ñu nekkal suñuy affaire because of we have lots of things that we can keep to ourselves. So we need hope. Gambia problem bi mooy hope. We need hope.
But I think it's coming very slowly because look, even Ghana, they start to see the light.
Exactly.
I think Marie said that. They said to the Swiss, look, we are not supplying you any cocoa anymore.
Of course.
We are making the chocolates ourselves. Why? Because they know that is more money than what we are doing in the Gambia, for example. You know,
And that
we
is what
need
we
to
are
know
supposed to
that
do in the
we
Gambia.
can win more than what they are throwing to us, and that is
Exactly.
ours. I mean, we cannot deal without them, because when you have something,
when we industrialize, when we start doing things ourselves and keeping our raw materials, refine and send it, then we make money. Like I said, there's so many
but we have to
opportunities
come
in
to
Africa.
that point. We have to come to that point, you know, and have to see it and understand it first.
Mr. Ngerr, xam nga lan la? Mr. Ngerr, xam nga lan la? Mr. Ngerr, xam nga lan la? Gis nga politician boo gis right now, foog nga eewu. Understand nga? Su ma la nee nga eewu, it's not about traveling to Europe and just living in Europe. No, you travel to Europe, you deal with some top officials or top people in Europe or America. Nga mun a xam seen direction of thought. Eewu nag dafa bari different, dafa ute. Waaye fii Gambia, unfortunately, li ñu dee a lot of our top officials musu ñoo gis, xam nga tubaab su solee kos rek téye briefcase rek ñu foog ne mooy waaja. Te fekk xëy na tubaab boobu sol kos téye briefcase is a scam. You understand? So you need to know these things. Te dafa bari xam nga moo tax suñ government si suñ toogee rek nga gis all these foreign bodies ñëpp ñëw doo xam kan ay kan because yow expose law. So da nga toog gis ñëpp di ñëw di la offer yow expose law. So la nga waroon a am sa pour sa dëkk doo ko am because you are dealing with the fake ones. You're not even weeding out the real people that are real business. You're not going online to Google them and see their credibility. Every company, a credible company in this world is on Google, and it will give you the history of who they are, or do some research. Why couldn't you rek buy to a rek sold cost tier briefcase like angale for ngane wajila? Meanwhile, it's a scam. Look at our ID cards. You know, look at our ID cards, our government ID cards. All these things are because people are not aware. Te deka bi pour nga am ko fo nga aware, fo nga xam li fe xew ak lan mo fi xewon. Man nak I'm from the Jawara regime to Jammeh to now. I know what was there, what was, and what is. And we need people like that, because if not, we are in for the long haul. One of the reasons a lot of people support Halifa today, and maybe Honorable Dabo, is because they are from that old era and they know the game. Understand? There's a lot of game in politics, especially when it comes to foreign game.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Thank
you guys. Thank you so much, Marie. This was a wonderful interaction. Yeah, a wonderful interaction. Alice, thank you.
One thing I want to tell Marie that I want to come to Gambia. Don't worry.
Welcome.
Yeah, because you know, I mean,
you have to come.
Look, I was there. I worked for Jawara 3 years. I was teaching in Stukuta Secondary before I came here. You know, I've been here a long time, and here I'm so that I have the paper to teach apprentice. You understand? In engineering.
See?
So I know that many diasporans are also having these qualities, but the government should welcome such people to come and attack. But there is no base. If I should come there today, even if I need something, I have to go to 1,000 offices and everybody is corrupt and want to get something from me, things like that. So what is that for a life? So the access is not there for diasporans. That one I've been saying it for years.
Yeah,
because,
I see that.
Because the access must be there first. Even if you want to make a business,
I've seen that. I've been in there. I've seen all the stress diasporans go through. You know, the reason is very simple, Mr. Ngerr. The reason is they're intimidated. They're intimidated by us coming from the diaspora. And we should not be intimidated, because at the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters. You are a brother. You are a father to somebody. You're a brother to somebody. You're a son to somebody. So you have the right to come and bring your opinions and your ideas, and we see how we can work together. I met a lot of diasporans that brought a lot of work to this country, and they left because one, you know, like you said, money on the table. Money on the table.
If you don't give, you have no access.
No access, zero access. How do you think I'm surviving here? I have paid GPPA how many times GPPA so that I can get contracts. I get zero contracts. I get zero contracts, but I'm surviving because I know how to survive. So trust me, I am going. But
still, it's not the right way. It's not the correct way. You need to correct us. Stop this corruption.
I understand, but this is why somebody has to take the heat so that we can get to that point where it is eradicated.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm so proud of you, and you're looking great. You look great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm all excited, you know, I'm all excited and emotional.
Yeah, I know that it was going to be a day. You know, the platform is not a joking platform because the followers, they come to learn. That's why we call it civic education. I mean, for some people, I know they don't even spend 2 hours because they don't want to know. They go and look for quarrels and so, thinking that they are educating themselves through that way, wasting their megabytes. And we are contributing our hours to enlighten them. Because you were talking about that too, on Jaga, no, the people from this age to 40, you know, at least to enlighten them. That's why you call it civic education.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
thanks
so
to
that we
Alice.
can help them. You cannot send them to school again, but through civic education, they can catch up very quickly to go with life in somehow.
Yeah.
Normally, in many countries, the government used to finance that. Look at Ghana; they are having it there. It's official, and they used to show it in the TV. You know, to make sure that this age group they are brought and they, to be aware of what's going on. So that's
And be part of
for
the
us.
society.
Yeah, for us, it's just the contribution. For example, I spend my 2 hours for Sunday just for Gambia because where I'm talking with you, my whole desk is full. You know, nobody can see it from here. I'm a busy man. I don't have time. I don't have weekend. Even Mr. Sawaneh knows that. But still, I take the 2 hours I get for Sundays and then contribute it to this program.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely. This is really helpful for a Gambian audience and especially for women. So I'm so proud of you being making a headway, and we hope that many women comes. Like I always said, you know, I mean, women have equal space in our political field, and then you never know, they might even be the answer to some of these problems. So we wish you luck, and we will have you back in this platform perhaps before the election. So. You know, if anything, if you want to reach out also, feel free to reach out, and we'll keep in touch. Alice, you've been great. Thank you for the
Mary, thank you very much. And I hope that the people are also happy.
Thank you.
Mr. Sawaneh, then we see, because I think today, because of Mary, we spend a little bit longer.
Yes. You know, when we touch, this is a rare opportunity.
It's an important person, so we welcome always politicians here who are ready to say something.
I want all my brothers and sisters to come home like me. I'm very alone in the Gambia. Mangi, wait. I
know. It's so that
Alice will soon join you, and I will come later.
I join you soon. That's my plan anyway. I'm working on it.
Thank you so much.
Guys. All right.
Thank you.